welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the one and only, the executive producer, Mr. Benjay Dassim. We got the world champ, multi-world champ, multi-champion, a.k.a. Patty P, a.k.a. Aches, the legend. We got another world champ, Sam LaRue, new member, new co-host of the show, one of the best ARs to ever play the game. Give it up for Octane. And then, of course, we got another world champ in the building. 3 world champs on the show. We got Christopher Duarte, a.k.a. Parasite. Gentlemen, how's everybody feeling, man? We're back, bro. We're back.
Could have 4 world champions if you didn't schedule me in World War II. Sorry.
Hey, Sam, come on. We're doing this. Sam, we just started,
Could have been 4.
We just started, man. But yeah, how you guys doing, man? Hey, bro, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. How we feeling, bro?
It's we're getting to the end of the off season. I was watching the Optic podcast earlier today, and Hector asked Ant, like, what is everyone doing in the off season? And Ant was like, everybody's just chasing dope. And I think that's correct. I think we've all just been like trying to find what's fun out there because, there's just not, COD's kind of stale until a new game comes out. So I've been doing a bit of travel. I think since the last show I went to like Arizona for a family vacation. You and I have a Atlanta trip coming up, a bunch of other stuff. So yeah. I'm just excited. In like 1 week, games out, we vibing, play multiplayer, ranking up, and starting to talk about the CDL season.
Chasing dope. I mean, Chris, talk to me. What you been doing, bro? What you been up to?
I've been doing the same thing, man. Chasing dope. I was streaming for a long time during this off season. I've been doing some stuff with you. We had a banger tournament.
Yeah.
Casting some little sub-8s with you in the ZooMAFIA. And then I ended up getting so bored. I was like, all right, it's time to visit some family. I got to pass some time. So I'm out here in California visiting some fam.
Hell yeah, man. Sam, yourself, new member, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, man. It's weird. I didn't even know we were announcing that. I just opened up my phone and Gersh just tweeted like, "Yeah, welcome in." And then they actually used like the billionaire playboy philanthropist. I can
Philanthropist?
Yeah, they put that shit in the graphic. I was being
Sam's accomplishments. I'm like, fucking Google him. Like, what?
Gersh asked, "What is this? What has Sam done in Call of Duty?" And I literally just put the shit from Iron Man. I put billionaire playboy philanthropist in there, and he put it in.
But I was just like, bro, like what? But I mean, that was a good line. I'm like, I think I made a joke that you're like Tony Stark, and
that was good. I did that. Been streaming, chasing dope, as Shotzi said. I mean, it's been an 8 million year off season, and I am more than ready for Call of Duty to be out for sure.
Yeah, no, it's been the longest off season of all time. But don't you worry, Sam, because next year the schedule gets even worse, and the long season stays just as long. So can we get a round of applause for the colleague for making such fantastic, phenomenal decisions? I mean, I don't know how much fucking papaya they're smoking over there, but I'm starting to get annoyed. Pat, talk to me. Because you're too busy over there fucking doing whatever you're doing.
I mean, I saw that Chris was still repping the Halloween fit, so I wanted to put it on display for the chat. Chris, you look great. $1 million, by the way. But yeah, Tom, I've been good, man. I've been good. I realized this past month at the end of October was 2 years at Ubisoft, so that's crazy. The time has really flown.
So crazy, what's on that resume, Pat? How many games you worked on?
2 years at Ubisoft and 2 years on the flank.
That resume must be extensive, Pat, because you must be hard at work.
Come on, get it out.
Damn.
Almost there.
X-Defined? No, that one. What is it? I can't quite put it. What is that one? It's the one that was supposed to come out 6 months ago. Which one was that one?
Man.
6 months ago.
I forgot.
When did you see 6 months ago?
Nah, I mean, it's going to be 6 by the time that shit comes out.
I believe Mark Rubin specified the end of summer. And the end of summer, if you go to google.com right now,
it was Halloween about 2 days ago.
The end of summer is September 23rd.
Okay.
And since obviously, we announced we're delaying a little bit. So, but Sam, I mean, it's one of those things like, you see again, your guys were mentioning as we started the call, like Call of Duty's campaign, right? Like that was a rush game. Like we all know it. It was a rush game. They had to get a game out quick because it wasn't planned to be a title for this year. And it's not getting the love that they expected, right? You got TP saying 3 out of 10. I don't know if you guys saw Dr. Disrespect couldn't even play the game. He was having trouble just getting in. So it's one of those things, Sam, where it's like we really are committed to putting out a quality product for our fans. And that's something that's really important to us.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's great, right. Pat. It's great. Pat, you have the longest streak out of any of the co-hosts on the flank, Pat. Longest streak.
Yeah. 2 straight years.
Two straight years, Slayer.
I think I missed 1 show in 2 years. The whole season Vanguard,
the
whole season Modern Warfare 2. I mean, You know, Tom, I mean, you called me that one day back in Vanguard. You're like, listen, Ben's being Ben, and I need you. And I was there, Tom. And I've been there ever since.
Is that what he actually said?
Yeah.
I mean, it was something along those lines.
Ben is benning.
Fucking break, bro.
Ben left me. He left me for esports engine. He left me.
Here's the thing, Pat. I mean, when you're not doing much over there in the studio, like, I mean, you would have plenty of time to make all the shows. So, good on you, brother.
When you ain't hard at work for shit, of course you gonna make every flank. You ain't
We're
doing
doing a lot. There's actually a lot of good stuff coming along, man. I'm excited. It's weird being on the developer side, you know, when you guys can't, you know, see the full picture behind the curtain, but a lot of cool stuff is happening.
This is what the Call of Duty devs would say if we could talk to them if they were real people, huh?
Yeah, but the problem is
turning sides, he's switching sides, bro.
The problem is they don't talk to you. And I mean, we were running tournaments before the game. The game was in alpha. We're running tournaments, so you know.
That's true. At least Slade talks to us, Sam. Fair. At least he talks to us. You know what I mean?
I got a face that I could put a name to a face.
But listen, guys, let's lock in here. We got some things to talk about. First thing to talk about, this wasn't a topic I was going to bring up, but let's bring it up. Shroud, he's hating on COD yet again. He said, anyone that wastes their talent on COD makes me sad. Shroud talks about competitive gamers who play Call of Duty, saying they should play games like Halo, Valorant, Counter-Strike, and Apex instead. That's how I feel about Counter-Strike with Valorant. Like, if you play Valorant, that's sad, bro. You should just go play Counter-Strike. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, is there context to this, or are we just gonna go fucking cook this guy?
I think you started referencing Huskers, right, in the end of this. I think really what he's really talking about here is mouse and keyboard players. I don't think he's talking about like high-end Halo players or high-end controller players. I think he's specifically talking about mouse and keyboard players. Because I know he referenced Huskers. There was like a clip of him talking about Huskers, like he can't believe Huskers plays COD. Which, I mean, I think there's some credibility to that.
Apex and Halo are both like not.
Yeah, Halo's not mouse and key.
I was gonna say that.
And Apex, like you don't even want to play mouse and key in Apex.
And on top of that, like,
but the difference is there's not like I think the whole convo with where this sparks is just the aim assist convo, right? Like, people think aim assist has just gotten so strong on Call of Duty recently, and I mean, to an extent, they're right. In Call of Duty nowadays, aim assist is a lot stronger than it used to be. So. I think that's where that comes from. Like that kind of like mouse and keyboard players are just don't stand, you know, the same chance. Like they might as well show their skill in a title where, you know, aim assist isn't as wildly debated.
If we're strictly talking mouse and keyboard, I agree wholeheartedly. But if we're not, and we're just talking like being a professional in Call of Duty as compared to like Halo, Valorant, Counter-Strike, etc., I think that's just some hating ass shit.
I think
that's what I said. I just feel like he just has a hate boner all the time.
Depends. That's why I asked if it was context.
Bro, a lot of these keyboard and mouse players always have just like some like built up anger with like console esports or people who play console. Like, bro, anything that you love to do at a high level is not a waste. You know, especially like he's saying games like Halo. Bro, Halo is literally dying in front of us. The devs have been on vacation for 9 months. They're nowhere to be found. There's not even a mini map in CODcaster. There's not, and plus the COD players make way more money playing in COD than the contracts in COD are way bigger than the contracts in Halo. At least I think they are.
100%.
No, they're not even close. They're not even close.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to see the full clip because I don't know if he's talking.
That's what I'm saying. Like the context is very important.
You should pull up the Huskers clip. Go to Huskers Twitter. Yeah. And I think that was part of it. That was like the tail end of the convo.
Oh, okay.
I also think he's being very vague, where he's like kind of like discussing multiple issues because, like you guys said, you guys can bring up the fact that Halo and Apex are both controller dominated in their esports, but then he's also talking about Valorant and stuff like that. So I think he's kind of going about this with a bit of like in both directions. But the thing is I don't want to be the one to say this, but I think if all these COD pros dedicated the amount of time they had now into keyboard and mouse, they would be just as good, if not better, than these players that have been playing keyboard and mouse this whole time. It's literally just they mastered controller. Here's the thing.
That's a crazy take.
I'm talking about specifically in COD though. Like, because the knowledge is there. All it takes is the reps. Because, like, dude, it's not like it's rocket science to use a keyboard and mouse. The problem is with COD players is a lot of people aren't very good with technology, so they don't necessarily know how to have like a good setup. Look at
if mouse and keyboard was allowed in COD, I don't think we would see anyone that's currently in the league, barring a few players still in the league.
No. I'm not saying that they would.
But that's mainly because it's the game.
But that's now because they have all this experience with controller. I'm saying if they had the experience prior on keyboard and mouse. Let's say Call of Duty was essentially a keyboard and mouse game, and all these gamers grew up playing with keyboard and mouse. It'd be the same thing. Like Call of Duty is
You're
always
just saying
been
like if we put the time
game.
we put it on a controller to
I
a keyboard and
think-
mouse.
Exactly.
I think that
yes.
applies to some people, Chris. I don't think that applies
Yeah,
to
there's
everyone. But
definitely
I
people
agree
that are
with
just better
your
with
umbrella message that at the end of the day, pro gamers are pro gamers. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're
100%.
you're gonna be able to pick up other stuff. Like it's just how it is.
I don't think
And
Shroud
that's the
said
thing,
anything
though.
about COD players being untalented. He's just like, you know, if you are talented, you should go play
Yeah,
something else.
watch the Huskers clip.
But yeah, I'm gonna watch the
also-
clip. The one thing I will say though is
Go
I feel like Shroud doesn't watch competitive COD or has ever played competitive COD either. I feel like a lot of these guys, they hop into COD when it first drops, they play 6v6 domination.
Yeah, they get paid by Activision
They
to
get
play
paid
pubs
by
for like 2 days.
Activision thousands of dollars to go play it for a day or two. They go play pubs.
Exactly.
And they don't
Yeah.
they don't even know what competitive COD is. They have no
Before
idea.
you start this clip, though, Tom, I just want to say, like, if he's using Huskers as reference, Huskers played Call of Duty back in the day on
Yeah.
controller.
Yeah, I
and then
know.
he ended up switching and playing keyboard and mouse games. So it's not like Huskers is just this anomaly where, like, he was a controller player good at it
Yeah.
and then swapped the keyboard and mouse and was just good at it. No, he put the time and effort. So, yeah, if we swapped it now, it would
Yeah,
be
but
a,
you know
a
why
learning gap,
Huskers switched to mouse and keyboard, right?
but no idea. Other games.
Because I started playing all those Ghost tournaments, S&D
No
tournaments
way,
with Ghost,
bro.
and stealing
No
all his pocket
way.
change.
No
That's
way.
You can
why.
play the, you
Play
can
it.
play the clip, Tom. You can play
Yeah,
the
let's
clip.
play the clip. Let's see what they what was said here.
I think Huskers would do good in this game. Yeah, I mean he's a gamer. I hate, not hate, hate's a strong word. I dislike that Huskers wastes his talent on COD. It's such a bummer because he is such a skilled fucking gamer. I mean honestly, anyone that wastes their talent on COD makes me sad.
All right, that's all he said, and then it cut. I mean, I don't know what was said after that, but also like, what is COD, right?
I think he's just saying like content creation or just like investing any sort of time
right, but
whatsoever
that's
in
the
a
thing.
COD.
Like Huskers doesn't play competitive COD. He doesn't. He plays
Yeah, but
Warzone.
he's probably saying like the same thing as like Chris was kind of saying that like if he invested the amount of time that he did in a COD into say something like CS or Val, he'd probably be further up than he would be now.
Exactly. It's not like Huskers is this anomaly. Like I feel like there are probably more talented gamers than Huskers that are exclusively controller players that could go and play keyboard and mouse on other games. Look at players like Hydra and Dashi. Those guys play Valorant on the side, and they're
I don't even think he's
essentially what
wrong.
Radiant players. But also once he said anyone, regardless of the context you take it, he said anyone. Like that's talking about all of us, all the players.
I
You know
mean,
what
like
But I don't think he know. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's educated. I don't think he even knows. Like people just put everything that happens in COD under one umbrella and just says that's COD.
if
Right?
he's
Like,
objectively speaking though, he isn't wrong. Like if no,
he's not. In a way, depends how you look at it.
If you just love competitive COD, which we all do, then like we value our time here in this esport and we're never going to trade it for another game. But like if there's someone that's strictly like, I want to make a living, how can I make content or what can I do to like boost myself? Call of Duty's
Choose
not the
another
option.
game.
Choose another game. Call of Duty's not like, there are going to be exceptions for sure. But if you have a much easier time fucking making Valorant TikToks and going crazy over there than you do like, here's my meta class in Call of Duty, like that's not that's not the
Warzone,
case.
Pubs obviously that kind of peak.
That
pub
ship has
time
sailed.
was 7-8 years
Yeah.
ago.
Like there was a
The War-
Warzone train for a little bit.
Yeah, but
But-
that's shipped since the end of
yeah.
COVID. I don't think that content has much, especially the non-live content. So I agree with you, Sam. Like if you're someone who's like Apex is going to hit better, Valorant's going to hit better,
Yeah.
OG Fortnite that's launching tomorrow is going to hit better. You know.
OJ Fortnite. Everybody's talking about OG Fortnite. Everybody's tweeting out these pictures like this guy's not playing OG Fortnite. It's this guy, and it's like just a picture of them from like back in the day. I'm like, bro, shit. I heard there's also old school COD maps coming to Fortnite from the creative map. What is it when you could build maps in
The-
Fortnite?
The Fortnite map with Unreal Engine Fortnite stuff.
Yeah, apparently.
Is that
there's-
even allowed?
Well, not Unreal
I don't
Engine.
Come on,
know.
scrapyard.
but I don't know.
Fortnite
know that's
creative is
allowed, bro.
crazy.
Didn't
Fortnite creative is crazy.
Activision cease and desist a lot of? There was like a Rust Fortnite map that got cease and desisted, didn't it?
No, I think you're right.
Activision shut
so,
down
yeah.
Plutonium, bro. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yo, couldn't we say the same thing about Valorant and Counter Strike? Like, yo,
Say
if you're wasting your talent on Valorant, you're trolling, bro. You should be doing that shit in Counter. You should be playing Counter Strike, bro. You should be playing Counter Strike. It's a way more competitive game. Valorant's like this
No.
whole big clusterfuck these days, man. There's like
I don't think it's not purely competition though. It's more so the size of the game and like the following that it has,
I
rather
mean,
than just like what the game actually is.
I think the only thing I'd say for CS is like the CS2 state right now is very much like an open base.
What happened with CS? Did they ruin Counter-Strike with CS2?
No, they didn't ruin it. I mean, remember CS:GO launched and was fucking terrible.
They just rushed their game out, Tom. That's what we were talking about at the beginning of the show.
It's just
rushed their game out,
bro.
Tom.
No way.
The game's a beta. Like it needs a little more polish before it's like.
Bro,
as good as CS:GO
listen, people
was.
getting mad at what I said. I don't play these games to give like an actual opinion. It's more just from the outside looking in. A lot of people.
Oh, you're 100% right. It is harder to shoot in Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
There's no
everybody
doubt
always
about that.
complains that Valorant is just a clusterfuck, just filled with a bunch of abilities and it's just a whole bunch of just chaos. Where Counter-Strike is a more calculated game. Like that's just like
and also,
from the outside looking in. That's what I've just read. That's what people have been saying. You
also,
know?
like you guys are talking about how like it's a skill thing. He's got to be referencing this from a skill thing and not from a like competitive viability and like a atmosphere thing, because he brings up Halo. If he's not talking about it from that aspect of content creation or like having a bigger landscape, he wouldn't put Halo in that, because unless he's just completely out of touch, Halo is a lot smaller than Call of Duty.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
it
he's
is.
talking just strictly competitively, he's also out of touch. Because like, if you want to be a competitive in any game that you're playing, it's not just as like a way to make a living or like do something. You compete in a game because you genuinely like it. No one plays for a bag. Like you compete in COD or Valorant or Counter Strike because you love the game.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there are exceptions to
And
that.
then his example of Huskers is just, bro, Warzone is just a battle royale, just like RNG. Like, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not full RNG, but I mean, there's definitely like some talent in there. Like obviously Diaz and Shifty and all those guys, like they're godlike. They definitely be showing out down there. But I just don't even know. Like, do they understand that competitive COD is not Warzone? Like, do you think he understands that or no? Like, I don't even know.
I
Like,
mean, he played professional Counter Strike. I'm sure he understands that. There's a lot of ways you could take this clip. That's why like a 30-second clip is like a very hard.
I think
There's a lot.
I think we've covered every
nuance to that.
single.
Well, the only thing
I
we
think
didn't
covered every
cover
single
is
way that we can look at it.
Sam said no one plays for a bag, right?
I mean, you
Then
shouldn't be playing.
What
for
were
a
you
bag.
doing on Seattle Surge for 2 years?
I got hoed. Listen, hit up Dylan Envoy. Let me know. We won champs for sure. I got him back. That's all I'm gonna say.
all right, listen, let's get into our next topic.
I did get a bag though.
This is one thing that really pisses me off. I don't know about you guys, but man, I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of this. Let's look at the schedule going into next season. It has been released. Okay, we have 4 majors.
I gotta go first on this.
4 majors. We do have
4 East
1
Coast
champs,
majors.
which I don't think they announced where champs is gonna be yet.
No, they said Dallas, didn't they?
Well, no,
Oh,
they
did they?
haven't
Dallas is
they
the
haven't
rumor,
announced
right?
champs location, but that's
Oh, but Jacob Hale did.
Jacob Hale put out an article and said they were sourced that it was supposedly Dallas, and then on the Optic podcast, they were insinuating that they're running an event this year. So unless there's some unannounced event other than these 4, you got to think it's champs then. So
Oh, hold on, Tom. I gotta go here. I'm sorry.
No, Slay, go. The floor is yours, brother. Because I'm gonna say something I regret, so maybe you should go.
Okay,
hold you back
that's
from
fine.
it.
I'll start off positive. I absolutely love this, Tom.
Oh
Wow,
yeah,
you just say some stupid shit because
yeah.
it's like a 20-minute drive for you, isn't it?
I hate the fact that there's 4, but I got an hour and a half
there it
nonstop
is.
flight to 4 majors, Tom.
There it
Yeah,
is.
and that's also a problem. That is also a problem for me.
Charlotte is like a 30-minute flight. So, hey, I'm all for it. CDL hooking me up, basically just putting dots around where I'm at to get me close to these events. So,
I
shout
don't
out to
understand
CDL,
this.
man.
Here's
Growing
the hot
up,
commodity, Pat.
I prayed for an East Coast event. I would pray for it. Please let an event
we
come to the
always
East
went to
Coast.
LA and
we
fuck
always went to
Vegas.
LA. Now I live in LA. And I gotta fly all the way across every event. I gotta fly all the way to the East Coast, man. Like, bro,
You're racking up those air miles, though.
but they want to spread out the love in the United States. Don't they want to spread the love, bro?
well, it depends on the teams. With majors, they're all team hosted. So if Seattle, LA Thieves, and LAG aren't like Jones to host events, it's kind of chalked. And one thing that has changed, because this comes up all the time, like why not Anaheim? Well, one thing that has changed since COVID is the Anaheim Convention Center used to be like pretty affordable. Now it's extremely expensive to run events there. So I think you check all those boxes. It kind of explains why we get, these Midwest events and we, getting a lot of East Coast events.
Wait, so we're going to Miami during spring break. It
yeah,
looks
it's gonna
like.
be late. It might be dangerous.
That's pretty wild.
yeah, it might be dangerous.
The one thing that sucks the most from this is we're going to Boston, which is a great event.
But no, that's
In
not
the
the
dead of
that's
winter,
not the thing
bro.
that
January
sucks the most.
20th.
Again.
Whoa, that's not the thing that sucks the most. That
Again.
obviously sucks. That obviously sucks.
Here we
have
go.
we only have 4 majors is the thing that sucks. Look, last year I really liked sort of the theoretical process of how they built that schedule. We had 5 majors. The first one was a Pro-Am, which is like way better than the mid-season Pro-Am they had the year before. And then we had champs. And I was like, okay, well, maybe they're going to kind of run it back similar. The December event, there was rumors of maybe going to DreamHack Atlanta. Maybe that's a Pro-Am. And instead, bro, my problem with this fucking schedule is the first event at the end of January, and then the next event's at the end of March. Bro, the majority of these events is going to be like at the end of the season when interest is a lot lower.
Whoever's good too is going to cash out.
Yeah, we're missing the mark in the beginning of the year. It's just tough, man, to have only 4 majors and over the course of what?
Yeah,
7 months?
But we're also back to a January to. I mean, this year was crazy. It was June to January. Now we're still gonna be on the July to January thing next year. Like, I don't understand why, like, as an esport, we have longer off seasons than like every pro like actual sport, which is crazy to me. Like, what do you need 7 months off for in an off season? That's insane.
Let's not compare to pro sports is a terrible comparison.
Why don't we play more? I don't understand why it's a terrible comparison.
I was talking about this on stream. Like, I get it. They're like, okay, well, COD's got this November release window thing. You can do November, and this is the way I pitched to my chat. I was like, November, early December to July is fine. But then between July and November, this is the perfect time for, like a World Series of a World Cup of Call of Duty, doing exhibition events, going to places that we've never had events before, like South America, and doing exhibitions and show matches.
When are we going to do that?
I disagree.
During the like 5 months we had.
I disagree, bro. And this is why. We had a system in place for a decade that worked. We had a launch event in November or early December, and we ran events all the way till September. Like, we had a system that worked, and we went away from it. And it was a super short off season, which made Roster Mania more fun, more interactive, because it was like a 2-month period where like everything was happening. It was crazy
every week.
Yeah, and we had 9 months of basically games to play. Like, you had a launch event, which was always fun and massive. You had an event right after the holidays. You ran another one. And I know we're in an era now where events might be more expensive, but like, bro, what's to stop us from doing online, more matches online from the beginning of the year to the end? I mean, shit, we know they put rules in place that teams aren't even allowed to play together in online tournaments before the CDL begins. Like, you're literally restricted from playing with your teammates in online tournaments. Like, it's fucking insane.
So just to speak on the, like, back when we used to have events in September, the difference between now and then is back then you had 4 TOs, right? You had MLG, you had UMG, you had UGC, events were a little bit smaller, and then over in Europe you had Gfinity.
And
and then Insomnia as well. So you actually kind of had 5. And
that's not true. In World War II, we had all CWL events, and we ran.
Yeah, but that didn't run to September.
7 events.
In the middle of August.
No, Champs was in September.
At World War II was in September.
It was at the very. I remember driving back. It was like September 1st. I had the big check in the car. Driving back from Columbus back to Chicago. Because I lived in Chicago at the time.
One thing I just wanted to bring up was, like, as much as I'm for having all of these more events and these tournaments, the prize pool's got to come from somewhere, right? And then on top of that, with the majors, somebody has to want to host it, unless it's coming out of like Activision's pocket. And I don't think they want that to happen.
Activision's pocket, the billions and billions of dollars that they have. No.
I'm with you. But more so, if
unbelievable.
If they just don't want to do it and invest in it, then there's nothing really more we can do. The one thing that we could possibly do is, because we obviously know they have a budget for the season, is spread that budget out more. Maybe some people wouldn't like it, but what if money from champs or from these majors was spread out into more like events, or like
there shouldn't have to be an unreal compromise like that.
I just found the World War II season. It ran from December 8th, 2017, all the way to August 19th of 2018. So it was a full 9-month and change season.
Phenomenal.
But that was a season as well where we had a LAN league, which was nice. I think, Chris, here's the reality of it, right? Let's just step back about the esports where we're at now in general. It's not great on all sides. Like, the team side is obviously a complete shit show right now. Like, today there was news about layoffs at LA Thieves, 100 Thieves rather. There was news about EG earlier this week. There's a lot of stuff going on the team side. On the publisher side, and specific to Activision, they laid off a lot of Activision Blizzard esports people over the summer and early fall. They just underwent a merger with Microsoft. Overwatch League seems to be done. They haven't announced what's the future of it, but it seems like it's going to be different. I think, look, to the point that you guys are trying to make, like, I think the reality of it is if we want more activity, we want more budget, it's going to be in more of an open ecosystem. And I think that's, this might be the last or second last season of the CDL because
dude, they're killing this shit for us.
The only realistic,
they're killing this shit for us.
The only realistic economics they have right now are less events. And obviously they've increased, and we'll talk about it, more online activity this year than last year, which I hate at this format, to be honest with you. And someone made a point in the chat, look, like, the other kind of esports thread that has slowly been unraveling over the course of the last, especially 2 or 3 months, is what is Saudi Arabia going to do with their investment in this scene, starting with the Esports World Cup? So
I just looked it up.
The unfortunate economic reality we're in right now.
CWL, the CWL, not extra tournament organizers. It was just Activision and MLG ran 7 LAN tournaments and 2 LAN leagues across that 9.5 month span. Like, I don't understand why that's not doable.
And then with all the restrictions.
Hold on. Let me speak to that, Pat. I can't go into a lot of detail because I don't want to piss off.
No, go into some detail. That's what we do on the flank. We go into detail.
But there were, in credits to Adam and his team, they did a lot of work with the economics and the budget they had to pull that off. Like, they actually moved heaven and earth.
Okay, so what you're telling me, it takes smart people to run 7 tournaments in 9.5 months.
Here's the thing, though.
Okay,
like what they did back then, I just don't think from a economies of scale perspective you could do now. It's just impossible. Costs have dramatically gone up, especially event costs have gone higher. Look, the problem with esports shows, and someone put on Reddit, and they were like spot on today. And
I mean, if you didn't have to pay a $25 million buy-in, I imagine the cost would be a little bit easier.
I mean, that wasn't a lump sum buy-in, though.
Esports events so expensive? Why don't they make money? Well, if you're looking like the Travis Scott show, right? They have a touring set, maybe 2 touring sets. They have the same crew that tours. They set in, they get in, they get out. They've amortized crew costs, amortized show costs. The problem with esports shows, they're like one-off shows, and that adds in a lot of short-term rental costs, short-term venue costs, and you're never able to actually make money off of concessions, merchandise, all the other stuff that you can do on a normal tour. So it's like, it just doesn't like balance out whatsoever.
So Ben, I have a question for you.
How do we start talking about Travis Scott?
What is the reasoning to all the restrictions that the league has, right? Why can't we do online tournaments with full rosters every weekend?
That's a great question I've been asking
Why
myself.
Can't pro teams design their own jerseys and make cool jerseys and make cool merchandise? Why is everything so restrictive? Like, what is it with that stuff?
They signed an exclusive merch partner at the beginning of the league, and I think that caused a little bit of an issue here.
Okay,
bro,
so
that was not a particularly wise decision. I think the creativity of jerseys and skins in game were like really important and would have been great for growth, and they made the opposite decision there.
Sam, the floor is yours, Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
I'm so tired of talking about just like why everything is wrong. Like it cannot be out of a place of ignorance, right? There's no longer, like, we can no longer be having a conversation of like, they probably should have done this. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, no, I'm kind of over it. I'm sure everyone in the COD community is. I'm sure you guys
2019.
Bro, there's no room. There's no room for benefit of the doubt anymore. There's no room to blame ignorance. Every single year, from the beginning of the dawn of time in Call of Duty, there has been a laid out structure of how things should be done and what people like to do, how they like to compete, how they like to watch, how they like events to be run. There's infinite fucking evidence out there, and it's just not happening. So at the end of the day, if they're gonna kill their own league, fucking let them, bro.
I'm sorry. It'll benefit us. It'll benefit us if they just kill it.
Do y'all not remember the summit? I think everybody. Chris, were you there at the summit, the CDL summit in 2019?
Oh, dude, we can't talk about that.
I walked in that room and I was like, bro, it is chalked.
Nah, dude.
Bro, everyone knew it was chalked instantly. The only good part that anyone was even happy about was the fact that our contracts salaries were higher.
Yeah, that was the trade-off. We sold our souls, bro.
We all knew collectively this was the worst shit we've ever seen. And it's not like we didn't speak up, right? Like, I mean, there was some of us who spoke up at that summit.
Everyone's been voicing their opinions about this shit.
And we were just like, this is horrible. Like, none of this is good. None of this makes sense. Obviously,
there's people in charge that have no idea
there was
what
zero
they're doing.
Control. There was like our words were absolutely nothing to them. But bro, it was so easy to call this out before it even started. Like, everyone knew.
It's not easy to. It was like this. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm past the point of the benefit of the doubt and the ignorance. Like it like these things that have transpired over the last 4 years. Like, everybody, like you said, Pat, from the moment we had that summit in LA and all those players were there, we like meeting everyone from the league and all this shit. We all looked at each other. We walked out of the room like, holy shit, thank God we're making fucking $300,000. Like, dude, it was literally just the trade off of like how things should be ran in order to get a bag. And that's not like, I don't think that's the player's fault or anything like that. That's just the
we
system.
didn't have a choice.
That's what I'm saying. Like we couldn't, I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but we couldn't leave that room if you guys remember what I'm talking about. There's just like, dude, if they're gonna kill their fucking league, then let them. Like, I don't know what more to say.
This whole CDL franchise model.
We can't sit here.
Excuse me, Ben. I'm talking, Ben.
Tell them how to run a schedule, bro. We can't.
This whole CDL franchise needs to be scrapped after this year. We need to go back to an old CWL format where this shit is just completely gone. We need pool play back. We need open brackets back. We need all this stuff back. And we also need a schedule that goes 9 months through the year. Go ahead, Ben.
No, I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like, I think, listen, the Microsoft Activision merger went through a few weeks ago. There's obviously going to be a restructure across both companies as they merge. Like, it's going to include the esports division. And I'm curious to see after this season, like, what they do here, because I think we all agree going back to an open model will be best. And we go back to what made COD great, bro. The group stages, the brackets, big convention.
People making decisions that no one else is
doing. I do want to
doing.
address somebody that's in the chat. He goes, well, that means salaries are going to go back too? Sure.
I guarantee
cool.
you every player would take that trade.
Sure. But listen, bro, if you are a really talented player, your salary will not be bad. If you want a good team, then teams will have to spend money for good players. If you're good, you'll actually deserve a contract where you get a lot of money. That's how it should be.
Bro, we had this conversation. Was it the last flank that I was on, Pat, where we were talking about how my salary had increased up until like World War II, and we were like, that's that's a fraction of the money that I made in the CDL, and like that was an easily sustainable living.
Yeah,
like I think like just the financial like landscape of the league nowadays is so inflated that people think that it's like required as opposed to like remembering prior when it was like, oh, we were completely fine.
And then this one guy said, this guy said, sorry, I just want to address what he said in the chat. Some guy said in the chat, he said pro players are not going to take that pay cut. They don't have a choice, Grim. They don't have a choice. It's either you take the pay cut and perform so you get a better salary, or go back to school or go get another job, brother. Just go. It's done. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it should be, bro. It's how it was back in the day. That's how it should be now. This whole franchising shit is killing COD. It's killing it. Parasite, sorry, go ahead. Yeah. Just see a lot of dumb shit in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of stupid shit in the chat.
Going back to what you were saying, how like there's so many rules and restrictions. I mean, that's just a big problem with Call of Duty in general, because there's just all the stuff that we had growing up with Call of Duty that made it grow, all these unique events, all these unique organizations, teams, jerseys, all this stuff. Esports wonders why it can't sell shit. That's the problem with the esports market, because they can't transition viewership to sales. And it's because of things like this where they just restrict you. They make all the camos the same in the game. They make all the jerseys the same. They put on these lackluster events and stuff like this. They don't put on as many events. They don't give the consumers, the people that watch, the people that want to invest in this esport and buy it and support their favorite players, unique avenues of doing so. Everything is the same. And that is like a huge problem with COD.
I listen, I love talking about MTX and jerseys and all that, but I just think like in general, I mean, you look at other esports, like the only esport that like got close to solving that issue to an extent was CSGO, but the problem is it was buoyed by like a massive skins black market that Valve had to step in and put their foot down on. So like, I just don't know if the problem is necessarily solvable by today's economics. I think the team business in general is just still like very early as far as investment in like.
I don't think Chris is talking about problem solving and more so just like a bone. like just like throw Call of Duty fans and players a bone. Well, like not even like this is gonna fix everything.
Something that they should do starting this year, bro. How has Activision and now Microsoft in all of the years of Call of Duty and the Call of Duty League, Call of Duty World League and Champs, how have they not had crowdfunding for their events? It has to be a legal issue at this point.
It's got to be. I just don't understand.
The concept of having team camos, a percentage of team camos go to a prize pool is just so fucking out of this world. It's not attainable.
They can't figure it out.
ZooMAFIA don't have a problem. ZooMAFIA don't have a problem crowdfunding.
Zooma's chat can crowdfund better than the CDL.
We've been crowdfunding challenges every week. Every week we've been doing subscriber age challenges.
You can crowdfund better than $1 billion.
It's crazy.
And that's
crazy.
And that's the thing, though, Ben, is like I'm not talking about like something that's going to solve everything. I'm more so talking about like they're not taking any steps forward. There's only one thing that the league has done that has been positive for Call of Duty, and it's the amount of prize money they dished out to people. And the amount, and I guess if it's tied even so, is how franchise inflated the pockets that the money that people and the players were making. Outside of that,
the salaries is
there's
definitely
nothing.
more important than the prize money, I would say.
I know,
Like,
but that's what I'm saying. That's the
prize money
only
was
thing.
still pretty big.
But here's the other interesting
Before.
part about what CDL and OWL is like the owners let themselves get walked over on like the sponsor and partner limitations, the jersey stuff. Like they didn't do a good job of negotiating their leverage in these situations to make it better off the rip. So everybody got hurt by all of that. There's like weird commercial stuff that like they had to solve year one with like teams being unable to sell like controller sponsors and drink sponsors, like base economic partnerships that like are like any kind of sports or esports team like they couldn't do because the league had that as an exclusive category that they could sell against. Like there's just a lot of mistakes early on in the process of CDL and OWL, and I just think they're never able to overcome. And I just think franchising in general across esports, and you've seen the struggles with like LCS and BCT. The times are ticking there, I think.
CDL is just killing itself from the bottom up. I mean, it's going to start with Challengers already, although like Challengers has cultivated some of their own issues with like how their scheduling is and the fact that they try to like do it full time, which hasn't been viable ever. But like the fact that Challengers isn't even a requirement at events, I think like I'm pretty sure there's an option for these teams to run it if they want to.
Yeah,
is just exactly that. They're just killing it from the bottom up. Like there's going to be less and less avenues for these up and coming players, which are eventually going to have to populate the higher ranks to compete and to actually get that much traction to compete in the future. Like it's going to start from the bottom,
Chris,
and it already is starting.
I hear you on that, but what events last year didn't have a Challengers event attached to it? Any of them?
Columbus, right?
Yeah, Columbus was the only one. That was the league one in the small room, but everyone other ones had Challengers.
Yes, but then there was also I think the year before where I think Optic didn't host one. Right,
They
the year before that,
they did not host one because they didn't have room in. They only had the ESA side, not the convention center side, which they solved this year.
Okay, see, I understand. I'm not saying
NYSL event didn't have it because Boston ran it.
Okay, but that's what I'm. This is what I'm saying though. It's a fucking option.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not being properly supported at all. Right.
Which I hear you, but someone's got to. The issue is someone's got to pay for it. Like the league.
Well, I get it.
Have the all like you know what I mean? Like that's just an economical problem. As far as
okay, and that's the same argument that we have when it comes to having more events, having more of this. Somebody's got to pay for it.
But I would say
it's the same thing.
I get what you're saying. My only thing is I don't think the Challengers thing is a strong argument because I think pretty much every team in the CDL, when asked this question, is like we are doing what we can by our stuff to support this scene. Like Boston's running a lot, for example. They run almost monthly or bi-monthly Challengers land.
Why are the teams keeping the?
But that is exactly it's the team's option. That's not what you're. This is what I'm arguing, Ben. I'm saying that Activision just doesn't give a fuck, and it's going to slowly
start. The obligation should be on them, not the team.
Exactly, and their lack of caring is slowly just like getting to the higher levels. Like you can just tell. You can tell with the team structure. You can tell with their efforts to give people options of where they want to watch, which is going to be another issue that probably has been announced.
The CDL is not from a lack of effort. It was a bad idea by rich people unattached to esports. It was not from a lack of effort. It was poorly funneled and poorly designed and poorly executed effort.
Well, no one is sitting here blaming every CDL employee, Ben. I'm saying from the top of the food chain, Activision, the people that make the final decisions, the people that turn this into basically just a corporate fucking marketing. That is where it stems. Obviously, the people at the bottom, the people that actually have jobs in the CDL, they care because if this shit goes down under, their jobs are over too. I'm talking about from the top, Ben. I'm not talking about the CDL employees.
Well, what these franchise leagues were is Bob. I know Bobby's on his way out. He's collecting his check on December 31st and running off into the sunset. I mean, you all probably seen the picture of Bobby and Robert Kraft at like Davos or wherever they were talking about the future of esports. I mean, look, at a base level, a lot of the initial part of the CDL and OWL was, this vision pitched by high levels of executives at Activision to rich billionaires and they pitched a lot of rich people.
Yo,
That
Ben, you
obviously
ever see Jaden Smith say, "Let's talk about the economic and political state of the world right now," or something? Bro, that's what I was thinking when you kept saying economic.
James pretty
bro.
but I just want, if we're gonna talk about the CDL,
I kept thinking about.
I just like a lot of their core issues was just, and I saw someone make this comment. I don't know if it was on Twitter, on Reddit recently, but like esports has to stop trying to be pro sports, and like I agree with that, like 100%.
I agree with
Like
that
we
too.
100%.
we have to stop trying to be the NFL or the NBA or whatever. Like to Sam's point, like the
Convenient
basic
where we
format
started then.
of how to execute a really good Call of Duty season was there. It was there fucking 5
there
years
forever.
ago. Just keep running it over and over and adding more, adding more layers on top of it, and you're good to go. Like it's not complex.
It's all about the grassroots, man. It's all
Dude,
about
we
the
could sit here
grassroots.
for hours
Yeah,
and
let's
hours and
move
hours
on.
and pitch corrections. And
Yeah.
it's just never going to be a thing.
Let's move
Hold
on to
let's
the
not
next
move on yet.
topic,
Let's
man.
not move on yet.
Slay, you got one more
no.
thing to say, Slay?
Yeah. It's. I need 10 seconds, Tom.
Oh
here
no,
we go.
10 seconds. All right, we'll wait. We'll wait for your 10 seconds. This better be worth it, though, Pat. This better be
Oh,
worth it.
it's good. It's
You
good.
know what I mean? We'll see
Pat's
what's
got a meme.
going on.
Let's see.
Pat's
the
got a
memes.
meme.
So,
for
so are
sure.
you in like
Bang.
Photoshop or something? What is that? What is that? Is that Beyonce? Who is that?
It's Taylor Swift.
Oh,
isn't
Taylor
it?
Swift.
I thought it was
Yeah.
Beyonce from over here. It's small. I can't see from here. Okay, that was the complete opposite. Taylor
Ben, they fucked it all up, Ben. Say it how it is.
Well, listen, I
Activision,
think they got to go back to a third
The
party operator.
whole
That's one of the
thing
best.
fucked the whole system
Yeah.
up.
They moved it internal.
They also
and they made
owned
bad decisions.
They also owned Active or MLG, and like how is Adam Apicella unemployed? Like there's a lot of
Crazy,
things
bro.
that could have went right that absolutely did not.
Out
And
of
they
all
are to
people
blame.
through the
period.
years, Adam Apicella is the one that's not here. Are you kidding me?
Listen, I would dish, but in the court
you
of
kidding
Jose,
me?
in the court of Jose Mourinho, if I speak, I'm in trouble.
Like what?
If Activision looked that good, I would too. Anyways, let's move forward.
Let's move forward. Let's go on. Let's move forward. Let's see what's going on here, folks. We got the Vegas Legion rumor. No official announcement or anything like that, but we do have a rumor here. Jacob Hale, which in my opinion, bro, if Jacob Hale's tweeting full rosters like this is going to be the roster. I'm like 99% sure this is the roster.
Jacob
here.
Hale is God. Everything that he says is gospel.
Hail bombs.
But we got Dylan Attach as the main AR. We're gonna have Purge as a flex and Standy and Nero as the main submachine guns. The submachine gun duo. I mean, where do you guys rate this roster? Do you think it's a good roster? I'll go first. I think for me, I really like Purge. I'm a big Purge fan. I've been watching him a little bit in challengers. There was a few times where he kind of like, I was like, hold on a minute, like let me watch this guy. And I tune in a little bit and watch him play. And I actually think Purge is a really, really, really good player. It's my guy Purge.
Yeah.
It's my guy Purge right there. And then I think Dylan should be on a main AR. I think especially at this point in his career, I think that's where Dylan belongs. I think that's going to be a role where he shines. And then I think with what's left in terms of sub duos, I mean, I don't think Standy and Nero is a bad duo in terms of, who's out there and who you can get. So overall, I mean, I think this is not bad for Vegas. I don't think it's that bad. Now, granted, some people are going to say L roster and say the roster is terrible, but I'm saying just based on the circumstances and kind of the situation that Vegas was thrown into, which, by the way,
best roster they fielded.
best roster they fielded. And then on top of that, if you want to talk about the numbers with any of these franchise teams, Vegas is the closest team.
They got the system. They got the formula over there.
Bro, they're the closest to being even than any other team. Every other team is down in the dumps when it comes to how much money they've lost. So, I mean, did the business model for Vegas Legion work? Like, did it work?
Yeah.
It might have.
You get a minimum.
Dead ass. What do you guys think about the roster? Do you guys like the roster or no?
I like
Go
Purge.
ahead.
I agree. I like Purge.
like
It's funny
Purge.
because like I like the team. And it's funny, both of the people on their sub duo, Nero and Standy, they could have both ended up on Boston, and we would have still agreed that like Boston's like unanimously the fifth best team. So I'm happy with the sub duo here. I think both of them are very good. I've kind of preached my opinion on both of them previously. And then Dill being on main, I agree. Tom is definitely the better play here. I think they're just still not competing.
Again,
top four.
ignore
Doesn't
all
matter.
these morons in his chat. Because look at all these mid guys. There's not 15 Shotsies and Simpanabizis that you could just throw on every team. I wish, bro, if only there was. But you have to look at the situation at hand as well, bro. Every team can't look like Atlanta FaZe and Optic Texas on fucking paper, bro. It's impossible. Go ahead,
I
Chris.
want to say something, dude. Why are people acting like this fifth spot right? Because we all obviously assume our top 4 is. This 5th spot with like Boston is locked. Yes, I get they have Slasher and Priest has won a lot, but when it comes to like raw numbers and talents, all these other teams look pretty good too. Yeah, sure, some of these guys might not have the accolades that some of these other players do, but some of them haven't been around as long. Obviously here with a rookie and Purge, but Standy and Nero are some of the best sub duo that you could have got probably outside of the top 4 from a talent perspective. Yeah, some of them are inconsistent, but they're also young. Like they haven't been around the scene as much.
Yeah.
And it's not like Nero or Nero at least has played with the best of the best. This is his 3rd year now. He's been on Boston for 2 years, right? Or was he?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
He was on Boston, yeah.
Like that spot is still wide open. This team has massive upset potential, and I'll tell you why. If you know anything about these players and you know anything about Purge, this team is going to be fucking gross at search and destroy.
Yeah, that seems gonna be really
Purge
good
is
to do.
godlike at search and destroy. Standy and Nero attached in search and destroy. If they can get together, this is a solid upset team.
But here's
I swear to God,
for
talking
sure.
about all the underrated teams always starts with that. They're gonna be good at S&D.
No, but they are.
That's
Like,
their
I'm not
home.
even
That's
just
their
saying
home.
that.
For real.
Nah, they're gonna be good at S&D, right?
But here's
But
the issue with this team.
Bro, if
is,
you're
like,
a new team, that's the worst thing you want to
100%.
hear.
That's
Because
the
we're
worst
basically just
shit.
saying they're acid
Nah, they're
respawns.
guaranteed
No,
2 and 5, right?
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying they are going to be good at search. Like
Yeah,
I
no,
can
I
promise you,
do
they,
agree. I
like
do
it's not
agree.
going to be like
But they're going to be
an
horrible at
upset team.
respawn.
Not necessarily. Looking
They'll
at
be
their team, they have a
inconsistent.
lot
They'll
of
be
they have a lot
horrible.
of talent and
They'll be
explosive. They have
inconsistent.
explosive players on their team. If
I'm
they can
just,
get under a good system, and
Go
we
ahead,
never
Ben.
know what the
Let
games.
Ben have the floor. Go ahead, Ben.
Again, I like the comp of this team. Like role-wise makes sense. And to your point, like S&D, just like with Las Vegas team, I expect this to be a really good quality search team. My concern, and we've talked about this a lot with teams in the position they're in, is like you need to get ahead early and carry that momentum. And if you can get an early good event placing, and mind you, this year we haven't talked.
No, you
about
don't. There's
that.
4 events in 5 days.
We haven't talked about it this year, but the land points have been increased, the point allocation. So there's opportunity there. But my concern with this team is I just don't, with the personnel they have and the resources they have, I'm concerned about their ability to like get ahead. And I think that maybe they can be like a surprise top 8 team early, maybe squeak it. But I just think they're still like ceiling limited from what they had, and they need to get a great season out of Dylan. I know he was bouncing in and out of the roster situation in Minnesota. Eli had his ups and downs last season. And they need a lot of pressure from Nero. But I do like the Purge pickup for sure. I think he's getting slept on by a lot of people I've seen on social media and Reddit. And I think they're a team to watch, man.
What do you think, Pat?
I don't know if they're gonna net out their ceiling, but like it's not a chalk team for sure.
Look,
The one thing that's going to screw this team over, my bad to cut you off, but I think the one thing that's going to screw this team over is still going to be the lack of facility if that's what they don't have again. Just because even though these guys are talented with how much online play there is, with them not being in the same location, they're going to be playing on some weird servers. And then on top of that, actually, no, Pat, go ahead, because I just forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead.
What
Pat.
the fuck?
Breaking on me.
He blacked
there's
out.
one
He
more
blacked
thing.
out.
There's
Sorry,
one
he
more thing.
blacked
I
out.
can't remember
Cool.
what it was.
Anyway,
ahead,
even
Pat.
though you blacked out, I actually agree with you, Chris. I agree. This team, they're explosive, all right.
here we
Explosive
go.
diarrhea. I don't know what
Dude.
y'all are smoking, but this team is poop. I like all these guys. Don't get me wrong. I like all of them. But I think
Yeah, it's disgusting.
aside from Standy having that like moment where he was him after that roster change, haven't been impressed. I was never really impressed with Nero personally. I know he had his moments and he was on
thought
a
he was
weird Boston
preemptively dropped
squad.
last
Nero's
year.
on his team to drop 1-2.
Well, again, Nero played like he just the style that he plays. I think is I can't get behind it personally. I don't think it's a consistent play style. And then we've talked about attach for a while. Like Dylan is still a good player, but I think he's at the tail end of his career. And I assume he's running main here, which
Yeah, he is.
it's tough to say, right? Like we haven't really seen much of Dylan the last couple years, and then Purge is a wild card. So for me, I mean, I think like again, this team could be a dark horse in search for sure, but like I don't see them competing with the top 6.
Are you saying they're mid, Slayer, like the chat? Are you saying they're mid?
I'm
best.
saying they're mid, yeah.
Damn.
They also have one of the harder.
Chat,
So
he
we were
agree
doing this
with you,
exercise.
chat.
We wanted this exercise on the stream earlier. I was jotting down like so. Every team they're going to play. I think half the league they're going to play 2 games online. Half the league they're going to play 3 games online over the course of the 4 qualifier stages. And Vegas actually has one of the harder splits. They have to play Toronto, Optic, and New York 3 times each,
Dang.
which is pretty difficult, and Thieves, who I think will probably round into shape by the end of form. So I do think that Vegas online are going to have a real tough time. I like this potential for this team on LAN. And again, with the points allocation of this year, like if you go to one of these events and you get top 3, you're getting the same amount of points you would have gotten for essentially finishing first last year.
I gotta address the chat.
So,
Go ahead, Pat. Who pissed you off?
So the chat is saying Dylan is not at the tail end of his career. I'm disrespecting Dylan. Listen, I love Dylan. I've known Dylan for over a decade. I love him. I think he's been an awesome Call of Duty player. But anyone who joins the Paris Legion or Vegas Legion, are at the tail end of their career. That's just the reality.
Man, Purge
of how
didn't
it
have
goes.
1 year. That's tough.
I mean,
what about the beginning or
Jimbo
end,
Jimbo
like-
didn't have 1 year. He was gone. His tail end.
yeah, well,
He
had
it was
he had
one
more
and
year
done.
after, but then you know,
He signed a one and done,
Fucking Jimbo.
respectfully.
yeah.
But
I mean, Clay played for Vegas, and now apparently he's going.
Clay's
to
been at the
Carolina.
tail end of his career for 5 years. So
Damn.
it's different.
He got 9 lives.
I'm not saying Dylan can't also do that, but I'm just saying, like, you're not him anymore. You're still able to compete, but you're not him.
I actually remember what I wanted to say, and it was you just brought it up. You guys said that online is less important than LAN. I think somebody did the math on Reddit, and unless their math is incorrect,
Their
which
math is
it could.
wrong.
Okay, well, somebody
Someone
said
on
I don't know what.
Reddit's math is
Well,
wrong.
Well, some of the people on Reddit do. Well, actually, some of the people on Reddit aren't too bad. They'll actually do their due diligence. I'm actually curious to see the increase in terms of like percentage difference that online LAN like make from
the point
this year
differential.
and
So-
the year prior.
so
Because
let's
I'm
talk-
actually, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because my bad. Let me finish. Somebody on Reddit said it's only like a 2% increase, which would be wild.
But we
I
gotta
don't know
stop
exactly
trusting
what
Reddit
it's gonna be,
numbers,
but
man.
if it's not,
Chris, are you talking about if this year's format was
I would
made
be
last
mind
year?
blown.
So the way it's worked, so the changes are this year as follows, because there's some really interesting ones, including the tiebreakers are wild if you haven't taken a look. We've gone from 7 matches in each online split, from 5 to now 7. So that means we're gonna have more match days online, which, sure, I don't know. There's a couple of Fridays now where we have 2 matches, which is interesting. So yes, you are theoretically gonna have more of the 10-point allocation. You have more availability to do that. But here's the difference. On the flip side of that, they've increased the amount of points available on LAN fairly significantly, especially at the top end of the situation. So what it's going to do is it's going to keep everybody in the mix, especially at the last event. Like you're going to have a situation where teams aren't eliminated before that event. Like they're still going to be in it because you can get 100 points if you win. Now it's not realistic that the worst team in the league is going to get 100 points for sure. But if you got top 4 and top 3, you would have gotten the same amount of points you got first last year. So that's
So
I think, the bigger
basically-
key thing.
So basically, what it's doing is it's creating an atmosphere where if somebody randomly has just a one-off event, they have a chance, even if they're just not doing well. I don't think that solves the core issue. I guess it creates maybe a little bit more excitement when it comes to qualifications towards the tail end of the season, but I don't think that's the biggest issue with the point distribution at all.
There was a lot of contention even with the old format at the end of the seasons for champ
Yeah.
qualifications regardless. I don't think that was like a thing that they needed to focus on if that was something that they focused on. Like every year for the CDL we've had like, oh, who can qualify for champs going into like New York and Vanguard, for example.
But this proposal, I think, as far as I know, teams were like they got teams feedback and they were shown a couple of different proposals. in the
Oh, they were
sports
taking
allocation.
feedback, were they?
So
I got some
and
feedback.
they made some changes. I don't know
That's
if you
the
guys
problem. They're taking it from their
I got-
team
I
owners.
got some
go
fucking
to,
feedback.
Go pull up the Call of Duty standings page and scroll to the bottom and go to the tiebreaker. This is a change that they made that I think they sneak made, and they didn't really announce this. But if you look at the tiebreakers, they made some pretty interesting changes that I think we should talk about because I'm curious you guys' thoughts on it.
Where is it? Can you link it to me?
So go to the standings page, go to like the Call of Duty
All right.
league page,
CDL
and go to
point
standings.
standings. Yep.
Scroll all the way to the bottom, you see where it says tiebreakers.
Yep, got it.
Before we
It's a
talk
counter
about
row.
this, how many tiebreakers have there been in the last 4 years?
Like,
Hey,
we-
I've been a part of 2 of
a
them.
couple for
No
sure.
way, bro.
So
That really competitive bow cage fire
We're
put
getting
against Florida.
Flash banged.
yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah,
get
no,
Conley
dark
can't
mode?
even get a
The
dark
website
mode
don't
on a
even got dark
website. You
mode.
even got a dark mode on a website, bro. This is
$25 million for a dark mode.
unbelievable.
The biggest change they've done here is the tiebreaker match only applies to some specific scenarios. There are coin flips to some specific scenarios if there's ties for 4th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. And this one was quite interesting. I'm very curious your guys' thoughts. Ties for 5th, 6th, and 7th seed obviously going into events, corresponding first to third seed will choose their opponent. What are your guys?
Wait, didn't I tweet that?
You
Isn't that
did.
what I tweeted?
I actually remember that. I actually remember that. You did tweet that. Wait,
Did
Pat,
they literally just go to
yo.
my Twitter and put it in the rule
bar
book?
for
This,
bar.
bro, this
No
is why I'm
way,
telling y'all, bro.
Wait, Pat, go find the tweet. Go find the tweet
Bro,
and link it.
this is why I'm
way.
telling you,
Pat,
bro.
go find the tweet and
You
link
and,
it.
you and I have talked about this before in the show because
Bar for bar.
on this, and I actually think it's kind of an interesting idea. Being
Hold
able to
on,
pick your
bro.
opponent.
I gotta look for this.
Slay, did
Unbelievable.
they just finesse you, Slay?
Bro, they took it bar for bar.
That's actually disrespectful, bro. That's crazy. They didn't give you no funding
No
for that. They
credit?
didn't give
That's
you
how
no
League
credit.
does
No
it too. I love
nothing.
No, yeah,
that shit,
I
bro.
remember
That gives you a
this.
reason.
Great.
That gives you a thing to play for.
I tweeted it when that
love that.
Vanguard tie it was,
love
or
it
that
too.
it was I was watching a bouquet. Who was playing bouquets that was tiebreaker?
Me and Florida.
Yeah, that's what I brought. I'm like,
We were
why?
sniping.
Yeah, why don't they just let it so they pick their opponent?
Yep.
Wow, bro. This is why I tell
We
y'all,
were
bro.
sniping.
If you're good at something, never do it for free, bro. These corporations will just take your idea. Keep it hush hush.
Damn, bro. That's
Keep it hush
crazy, bro.
hush.
Unbelievable.
But that aside, I agree with Sam. I actually am surprised it's taken this long to do this idea.
I love
because
it.
I think it's really good. I
League's
think
been doing
creates-
this shit
creates
for
great
years.
Oh,
content.
my ideas
The
are
tiebreaker
good.
matches
What
were
would I
fucking
thought?
terrible.
That's not your idea, Pat. Go fuck yourself.
It was my idea.
No.
Wait, but
Okay.
here's the problem. Here's the problem I have. Like,
Yeah.
granted, this is a great idea. I mean, it came from me, but
Of course.
with 7 matches, like mathematically, the odds of a tiebreaker are gonna be or a tie are gonna be much lower
Correct.
anyway, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like we may not even see this now because
Yeah, but you got to plan for it. That's what comp ops is, bro. You got to plan for all the scenarios.
yeah, you planned it 4 years ago when I had the idea. Don't just wait until you're like, wow, that guy was right. Let's put it in now.
Some random
Unbelievable.
intern at a fucking Activision meeting saw your tweet and they were like, yo, like the meme of the guy getting thrown out of the office building.
Oh, here we
He's like,
go, here
guys,
we
what
go.
What about
I
Pat's
found it.
tweet?
Send it
I
to Tom,
found
send
it. I
send
found it. I
Tom.
found it. Shout out KJ Kills. Although that guy's
Ah,
always
hell
in
nah.
a
Put it in
neighbor
my
Nah,
chat, Slay. Put it in my
hell
chat,
Nah,
bro.
KJ's the goat, bro. Don't hit
KJ
him.
Nah, he's always in a Naval stream
He's a
with the
goat.
worst takes on basketball.
No
never seen.
way, bro.
Every time I go into a Naval stream, I get in an argument
Nah,
with KJ.
KJ's my guy. I don't want to hear this KJ. slander,
Sam,
bro.
you know what the guy at the table literally came up
KJ.
with like this. He was like,
Alright,
"Oh
put
my
it in the
god, I
chat.
just got this groundbreaking idea."
Yeah.
All right, let's look at this Pat tweet.
Should make
here.
land
Fucking
matter
chat.
more than online. Nah, fuck that guy.
Okay, so yeah, you tweeted this. This was not
2
during a
years
vote
ago.
cage.
The great
This was-
tweet,
this
Pat.
It was
during a vote
May
cage, yeah.
29th, 2022. It's 2 years ago. So think about it, man. They could have put it in last
Damn,
year.
Slay's 2 years ago. That's crazy, bro. That's actually crazy.
Damn, I just got finished losing to Florida on a bouquet hard point.
Never wrong, just early type shit.
No way.
Wait. Someone, send me the rule book. Send me the rule book.
Let's hop into our
Where's
next
the rule book,
team.
Ben?
There's also been another announcement coming from Jacob Hale, and it's gonna be on the Carolina Royal Ravens. Might be one of the worst names in the business. We got
That's pretty
Clayster, Godarex, and Real, but the fourth is still unannounced. It could be Fame and Gwyn. Those are names that have been
He
heard.
followed
in
it
the...
up.
Gwen's
Go
rumored,
find his
right?
tweet. He followed it up and think he said Gwen.
He
and
said
see-
Gwen.
It's
Maybe-
in the tweet. It's literally in the second fucking.
No, but I like you go through his fucking tweets. Like go
where he like confirms that it's Gwen or whatever.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a funny sub tweet. But now scroll up, Tom. Scroll up.
Yeah, no problem. Scroll up.
then
Wait,
go
you want
to
me
Jacob
to
Hale.
go to like his other tweets? You're saying?
Yeah, go to his other tweets because he followed this up a couple days later.
Where the fucking Gwen guys at?
was.
He says I'll sum it up. He says it was
I see
looking
it, I
like
see it, I
Gwen's
got
the
it.
lock.
I got it.
Yeah.
So my understanding is that Gwen is the front runner for the final spot on this team. So we got Gwen and Real as the sub duo, Godarex as the flex, Clayster as the main. I mean, I'm happy to see Godarex's name back in there because I feel like Godarex has been doing his thing in challengers and he deserves to get another opportunity in there. I feel
He
like
had he had like literally the highest KD at a challenge event of all time ever in the existence
and
of
the
COD.
only team that he really had the pleasure to play with, weren't they terrible? It was Minnesota Rocker.
online, he was terrible.
They were
And
terrible
they were
online, but
just
they were good
so
on there.
bad. They were
Yeah.
just so
They were-
bad.
They were
They
good, at the
were good
beginning of the year.
online.
They were going
And
to
then
land. They
COVID
made
hit.
the finals at LA. And
I
then
just
it all
remember
broke
they didn't
apart.
move. I
Yeah.
just remember that team didn't move on the map.
Well,
Adam
they
has a
broke
fucking
down
mental
after
online.
that event. Like when COVID hit, they didn't win a match for like 3 months. Like the
Yeah.
team chemistry was really bad. Some
Yeah.
bullshit went down there. But I mean, listen. If there was any Carolina Ravens team that was ever going to get off to a hot start, it's this one because
This
Clay
team
and
shoots
Godarex
mad
are
straight.
really good at like progressing teams. The sub duo I think is kind of underrated on this team.
This
I think
team
this team will be
shoots
nasty at
super
Surge.
straight.
Like I think this
There
is
it
a
is.
really good project put together by Carolina, and they might have a chance to get off to a hot start early. I think.
Mm-mm.
I think this team and what it was the last team, Legion, basically almost took the same route in terms of like how they built their teams, which I'm a fan of. I'm glad that Gwyn got a shot because I mean, Tom, we were watching him in our sub tournament.
He's good, bro. He's
if
good.
you guys haven't watched that guy play, he's fucking good.
He's really
So-
good.
I literally branded his squad, the Gwyn guys, and
The
I
Gwyn
can't believe they didn't
guys.
get picked up.
That's crazy.
But it's more so just for everybody watching at home. Yeah, that guy's really good. So I mean, I'm also glad to see.
Been talked about a
He's
lot.
a little bit underrated, a little bit too. I think a lot of
Because
people
the
played
eight's
with him
Reaper.
played him in eights. Yeah, he's got a lot of talent, a lot of passion. His English is good too, because he is a Spaniard. And then Godorex, I mean, I'm glad that guy gets another opportunity because he's always been really good, in my opinion. So, well, I like it.
Yeah. I don't think it's that bad of a team. I mean, we'll see how they mesh in game. I like the Real pickup just because I know he's been turning heads and like Sam said, the eight's a Reaper. But
He's a
if
Reaper,
you
bro.
just watch him play though, he is talented as well though. He's got like good movement. He can shoot really straight. Like he's definitely a really talented player. Does he speaks full English, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he shouldn't have a problem in
Yeah,
the
he doesn't
language
need to, like, learn
barrier
one
or
at
anything
all.
like that. Okay, yeah. I mean, overall, I mean, it's not too bad of a roster. I like it. Again, for some of these rosters that
I like the risks, man.
yeah, they're taking
love it.
risks. Some people are taking a risk, which I think you have to do when
Yeah,
you're at that
Purge,
point.
Real, Gwyn. Like, I love this shit. This is
Yeah,
great.
yeah. But Pat, what do you think about the roster? Do you like it?
Don't call it diarrhea again.
I mean, I like it better than the last one I saw. Yeah, I don't hate it. I guess I don't hate it. I
Oh
think
my God. Is that a
I think
stamp of
Goddard
approval?
Rex was probably the best player in challengers. Gwyn is good. Real's I don't know. I hope Clay comes crazy this year. I think he said it's his final year, so I don't hate it.
That's actually
Shit.
crazy. That's
Oh
actually
my
cool.
God.
I'm actually in utter shock right now.
The fuck, y'all remember this moment?
I'm in shock.
Positivity.
Any other
I say
thoughts
it how it
or
is.
hot takes or opinions or anything before we hop into the Reddit question? I mean, people are talking about LAG, guys. There has been no
There's
movement.
nothing.
There
There's
has been
nothing.
nothing. I've talked to so many people. They haven't signed a single player. They're not even talking to players. They're not
The
even
roster
talking to
changes
them.
are in their org, not on their CDL team.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
And again, that
I'm
leads
curious
me
what's
to
going
my
on there.
next opinion, where it's like, are they even gonna field a roster? Because saw it happen in Overwatch, and I had said this on stream before, and people were like clipping me saying that I said that LG's not gonna field a roster. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna field a roster or not. I'm getting that feeling that they're not gonna field a roster, and I don't know. That's possible, right? We've seen it in the Overwatch league, so it could happen here.
11 seems to be so fucking weird.
It's possible in Overwatch because there's like 20 teams. I don't know how you can 11 team major with an unbalanced online schedule. If someone gets a lucky, the only way to do it would be to give like the first overall seed, like I guess a bye to top.
Go
eight,
back to
but,
the
like,
MW19
but that's
vibe.
so like from competitive integrity reasons, like that's so messed up because of the unbalanced schedule. Like if you were playing a round robin, then it would be deserved. But I don't really bring 11 team double elimination bracket doesn't really work.
LAG can't field a team, bro. They got to give somebody the league spot for the low ski. Somebody I think
Yeah.
was hinting at that. I think like Team War showed interest in like trying to like get a part of the CDL, and I don't know. I like the guys on Team War that run the organization.
I like them
so
too. I
it'd be
don't know
cool
how
to see
much
them.
publicly tweeting about your trials to get to the spot are going to make people
Probably not a good
actually
idea.
happy. But there's been we've talked about the like potential Falcons rumors here. I'm just curious what LG are going to do. Are they going to field a team? If it is, it's probably going to be ex-LG players, Challengers players, whatever. Or someone to come in and operate the spot for a year and do what they want to do. I mean, times are ticking, bro. The season's in like a month, so there's not infinite time to get a team in, get headshots. You gotta remember, people gotta get onboarded, like their accounts gotta get set up and shit. So it's not. They're gonna need to resolve this. I think probably in the next 14 to 20 days. No,
Yeah,
it just can't extend into like Thanksgiving.
it's got to happen quick, bro. I mean, like
Yeah.
you said, it starts soon. I don't know I honestly have no idea what they're doing. Like I don't know. I've talked to so many different people, and I heard there's nobody even there to talk. There's nobody there to even
There's
talk
not.
to.
There's like
There-
one staff member.
There's one staff member. I know who it is. I don't want to say their name because, obviously it could lead to some problems. But there's only one person there. One. And from what I've heard, that one person is telling people, I don't know. I don't even know what the budget is. I don't even know what we could spend. I don't even know what's going on.
I think it's very simple, bro. They're trying to get out. It's clear.
Of
They're
course,
trying
of
to get
course.
out.
Them and a few
and
other teams.
my question is, if they end up not getting out, I could see a world where they go into like a dispute with Activision about this and just don't field a team. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Cronky Group is interesting. I wouldn't doubt that happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it either.
Something like that happened.
I mean, they've escalated a lot of stuff. Look what they just did with the World Cup. They told FIFA to like F off basically because they couldn't
Did
come to their
something
commercial.
like that
agreement with
happen?
SoFi. Like they're not.
Did
they're
something
not-
like that happen? Oh my bad.
I was gonna say they're to Pat's point, like they're not afraid to stand tall against these big corporations. I just don't know how you run an 11-team league. You can't say, oh well, we'll put a challengers team in the 12th spot. Well, how are you gonna determine which region that team comes
Yeah,
from?
I don't think that's good. I doubt that happened. I think they would just figure out some shitty 11-team format and move on with this year.
Did something like that recently happen with Valorant, where I think like an organization stepped in for?
Yes, it happened with.
Yeah, with
Was it the same? Was it the same
It was
team?
LA
Yeah.
Valorant.
because well,
Same
for
team.
the way it worked is when they qualified to the Ascension, like basically the relegation tournament, the tournament to decide who gets the spot, they pre-signed contracts to get that franchise spot, and then when it came time when they won and came time to do the final pieces, they tried to renegotiate that deal, and apparently it didn't work out, and Riot basically was like, we're done here, and then it was a whole shit show, and it resulted with, I think what
They're
Some
on,
of
like,
the-
I think they're is it G2? Something like
G2
that.
or some
or
other
they're somewhere like
situation that's
that.
going to be in it. But like, yeah, no. To Pat's point, like he's totally right. Like the Kroenke family will stick it to anyone if they're down to, including some of the biggest organizations and most money on the fucking planet. So we'll see what happens here. I just don't know how you run an 11-team format. I just can't think of a fair one with their current online schedule. How the fuck you?
I
would do
mean,
it.
I don't think it would be fair, but some seeds, it would just be even less matches for people to get out of winners, like get through winners.
Dude,
Like,
getting a 1 seed, if like that buy does end up happening, you get so many points just for that 1 seed. If
But
like
it'd be-
I
it'd
don't know like the inflation rate, like what it was last year compared to this year. I don't know like the actual
Why-
numbers, but
Points.
This guy in the
That's
chat,
insane.
Enact
Yeah.
OG, he keeps saying 8 teams per major for an 11-team league. Wasn't that a miss? Wasn't that a type? I read that
that was,
somewhere.
that was like a
typo.
mistype.
Are you
Yeah.
sure
They-
that was a typo? Are you
They
sure?
deleted it off the. They deleted off the
Okay,
website.
they
It was a
deleted
typo.
I mean,
Okay.
they just had AI type the rules.
I
I mean, they
AI
also like Seattle or someone tweeted the
Chat
schedule. where they play
GBT,
everyone.
Tom checked out my Twitter. That's
Yeah.
how they knew to reference that.
Oh,
bro.
hey,
I
bro.
knew it was a typo because there was a lot
was,
of other
um,
stuff floating around that didn't reference it. But I mean, that I guess would be one theoretical solution. But I think the problem with doing 18
Use the
majors
restroom,
again,
excuse me.
like if you have an unbalanced online schedule, like someone just gets fucked because they have a bad schedule online. It's not a round robin, so you're not playing everybody. That's just from a competitive integrity standpoint makes zero sense on the surface of the idea.
Well,
Not even
there's,
when you dive in.
Back to like the LG thing really quick. I remember what org it was. I think it might have been Seattle. But an org tweeted their entire online schedule for the whole season, and LG is a part of that. So they're scheduling matches under the assumption that LG will be fielding a roster, and I don't know if they're doing that out of just like, let's just put LG here and see what happens, or if it's like there's some sort of behind the scenes thing with LG going on the organizational side. But they are on the schedule for what it's worth.
My
So-
guess is if they can't sell the spot, someone is going to be brought on to operate the spot on behalf of LAG and cover the financial costs of running the team. Would be my guess on how they slightly off ramp it. But with the Kroenke family again,
I really don't
like,
see them
recently
doing
telling
that
FIFA
because
to
they
go fuck
got
themselves. Like I
they
don't
got
know.
burnt. They got burnt by Sentinels doing that in year one of the beginning of Overwatch League, right? Sentinels operated the Gladiators, and then after that, there was a big lawsuit, and they basically paid out that whoever the Sentinels CEO is, so that ended that dispute, that lawsuit. So
Oh, was the lawsuit over?
Wasn't there some other? There were some other side issues there that like.
no, you
I think
can
'cause
look
they
it
got
up. It's
settled.
public. Yeah,
Wait, what was
it
the
got-
lawsuit over? You remember?
however they did the ownership structure,
like how they would run it?
yeah, well, no, he ran it and then he sued him for. I have to look it up.
Yeah, but it was from my understanding like there was clearly some issues between Sentinels and KSC, and then KSC.
You can
Here
go
it
to the
goes.
Reddit stuff. It's
Sentinel-
bullshit.
Sentinel CEO sues
try-
Kroenke Sports Entertainment over Echo Fox purchase.
Yeah, they tried to go into business with Echo Fox. They sued them.
Uh,
No, they didn't try and go to business with them. They tried to buy their team.
Echo Fox, man, what a name.
Shout out Rick
Yeah,
Fox.
yeah.
What a
Kroenke
team,
tried
dude.
to basically Kroenke tried to purchase the Echo Fox a League of Legends spot or something, whatever it was.
They wanted to get an LCS.
And
R.I.P. man.
and he didn't tell the Sentinels owner and who was running whatever esports division Cronky had at the time, and so he sued him. And I remember it was a pretty handsome payout for that guy.
Yeah, well, I kind of want to, unless you guys have anything else to say,
bullshitting.
yeah, unless you guys have anything else to say, let's hop into the Reddit. First thing I see on the Reddit, and any update on the FaZe Black Challengers team. So we were actually waiting for the schedule because me and Kason have been talking about making a Challengers team. I don't know if anybody, Ben, I don't know if you want to come in and help us out. The Challengers team, probably not. But we were probably going to do.
Why are you assuming I won't? But like, we can
Do you
talk
want
about
to?
it.
We can talk about it later. But who's playing? What events is there going to be challengers? Is it every event? There'll be challengers there too, or no?
4 of them. So, yeah, all of them.
All of them.
There should be at all of them. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
no,
if we're under the assumption that
Well, but
the only
like-
one will be unknown is Miami, right? Because all the other ones have ran it previously.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think we
but
were
I
just
would- I
looking to
would-
see what was going on
I'd
with that.
be surprised if Miami doesn't run one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we haven't. So Daniel Sai replied to a tweet earlier today. Someone was asking like, why was there no challengers updates, and he said like, goal is to post more about challengers like post game launch. But my guess is like challengers elite's coming back and all that stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, the end of January would probably be the first event, and elite would probably start. I mean, if they do 3-week elite, it'd probably start middle of January,
Mhm.
beginning of January. So
Yeah, I mean, I've been
actually
talking
kinda
to
crazy, but-
been talking to Kason, so we definitely want to do something. And also Lost Bullen, you guys all know Lost Bullen. He's been coming in here crazy. He's also going to be helping us out. I think we're gonna have to hop on a call and figure out what's going on. But definitely want to do some. I just think it'll be fun. Wouldn't it be fun if we just had like a challengers team to just watch and compete and keep up with? I just think it would be cool to root for a challengers team and get somebody, help some
be good
guys get
content.
funded. What happened?
I said it'd be good content. One thing I
It
wanted
would
to
be
say
good
was-
content. Yeah.
What if they beat Chris at the event?
I don't care.
Chris, you're
That'd be
like
awesome.
super laggy, bro.
laggy.
You're
Laggy.
laggy in the chat, laggy in the chat for
Yeah, pay
sure.
for the premium Wi-Fi, man.
You know what I mean? It's you've been lagging all show, to be honest. It's just been kind of going in and out. You know what I mean? But yeah, you could talk one more time. We'll see if it's lagging. Go ahead. Are you good now?
Is it better? Is it better?
Nah, it's chalk.
No, it's not chalk.
It's chalk. Yeah, it's overweight. Yeah, but the challengers team, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, we do want to fund a challengers team. It would be a lot of fun. So maybe not to every event, but definitely some events. Maybe every event. We'll see. I gotta talk to Kason and Lois and see what we want to do. Do y'all think Temp made the right decision by playing challengers instead of getting on one of the lower tier teams?
how the fuck are we supposed to answer that question now? What? What a ridiculous question to
That's
ask
not a
right
ridiculous
now.
question. Ben, it's not
We
that bad of a
won't
question.
know if it's the right. We won't know if it's the right answer until the end of the
Well,
season.
well,
if it's fucking bet paid
but
off.
that's why they're asking us.
He's not asking us to
he's
be
asking
right.
us
He's
if
asking our
we
opinion.
agree with his decision. Do you agree with Donnie's decision, Ben?
No.
You know what I mean? It's not that bad of a
I
question.
think for Don, I think if Don's goal is like he doesn't care about the salary piece, he just wants to get on a contending team, then I do think he made the right decision. But obviously, as a lot of players will say, take the league spot. We get the league spot. So if that's your goal, then no.
But none of the teams
Wait,
that
so
he's
you're
going to end
saying-
up on are going to be contending. If all
don't
of these
know- you
teams
don't know that
making
for a
changes
fact.
aren't good, I mean, bro,
You're
let's-
not- for a
Bro,
fact.
stop,
Come
bro.
on.
I'm done. Stop saying this. We don't know this for a fact. We've had this conversation every year in the CDL where the dog shit team, who we assume is going to be 10, 11, or 12, you always say, oh, we don't know for a fact if they stand a chance. And then 12 months later, they get 9 through 12, and we're like, oh, yeah, we knew. We told you. I'm done
Yeah,
with
what-
this.
what
We don't
about
know. I know for
Minnesota
a fact.
picking up standing and getting top 4 champs, like it's happened.
Bro, I know for a fact these bottom 4 teams are the bottom 4 teams.
So,
Yeah,
Pat,
but
what
I
do you think,
but
Pat?
listen-
Do you
hold on,
agree?
hold
Oh,
on,
go ahead,
hold
Ben.
on.
Go ahead. Go
Last thing,
ahead.
listen, to be clear, like if you're in Don's shoes, like he has been a fucking spectator of champs now for a number of years. Like I assume his goal to try and get on a team so we can at least have a shot at the final event of the
Bro,
season.
I don't
No?
blame Don. I think look, if he stayed on Vegas, he would probably be the best player on Vegas, and if another team wanted him, Vegas would be ridiculous about it and try and make some money off him. So in this situation, I think he's just betting on himself. We know that and I think he knows too, outside of the top 4, there's probably 4 or 5 teams that are going to be mid and want to make changes. And if Don is one of the best challenger players, and if not the best, they send him a contract and he signs it. There's
And
no
that's the risk.
complication. He instantly gets on the team. We've seen this in pro sport. Like people bet on themselves. And I think when he weighs his options and he goes, do I want to be dead last and make 50K or dead last on a different team and make 50K, or go in challengers and just fucking bet on himself and try to be the best player he can be.
Stream every day, make
and
content,
just do his thing.
Just like there's so much they could do.
And it's probably just better for his mental too. I mean, dude, getting shit on, being dead last in the league, like that's got to be one of the most demotivating things that can happen to you, especially for someone like Don who has. Yeah, Sam can confirm.
Can confirm.
Someone like Don who obviously has potential to be a great player on a good team. I mean, it sucks that he has to do it, but I think it's the right decision for him for sure.
And also, like in Donnie's shoes, I mean, I've talked to Donnie, and he was saying it along the lines like, you know, somebody's got to get smoked. You know, one of these teams got to make a change, and hopefully it goes in his favor. You know, he's taking that risk. So I don't think it's that bad of a risk. I really don't. Me personally, I don't know if I would have done that. I just don't.
I would not have done it.
I mean, me personally,
it's definitely betting on yourself.
You're betting on yourself like crazy. You're taking a huge risk that everything goes your way. Like even if a team makes a team change, well, what role are they picking up, right? Like who do they need?
But his downside isn't that big. Like when you really look at it,
the salary.
Yeah, but it's the minimum.
Living.
He's gonna get the minimum no matter what. And I mean,
he's not gonna get the minimum until he gets picked up.
No. I'm saying if he stayed in the league,
right,
he gets the minimum no matter what. So his option is the minimum, or bet on himself after taking the minimum for 2 years and being in a shit spot.
Yeah.
I don't think his downside is that. Like if it was like 100,000 or 150,000, that makes way more sense. You probably take that guarantee. But a minimum to be dead last again probably doesn't make sense.
But even though like. Again, Tom is right. Like if like the role thing works, like depending on what team is actually make the changes, depending if Donnie's like good enough to be like a person on their radar in challengers, which obviously we're all under the assumption that he will be. Like there's a lot of things that go into it. Like I said, me personally, I think me and Tom probably share the same sentiment. I wouldn't have done it. I would have. And again, this is probably the year to not do that because I think the roster building of the bottom teams this year is unironically not the worst in the world. So it just kind of depends because I think. Let's be honest. I think 6 teams are probably going to make changes next year.
Yeah, see, I feel like my mindset would be, okay, let me go to these lower tier teams, be the captain, and build a team of just like young guns or just people and challengers that I know. Like I would.
But he's done that, right? 2 years in a row.
I mean, he didn't really.
It wasn't like great.
He was a part of it. There just wasn't that many good players to pick from.
Pat, people don't build teams like I do. You know, Pat.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I personally, bro, I see a lot of people building teams, and every time, Ben, we've had these talks. How many times have we called each other on the phone and we're like, what are they doing? They could have done this. They could have done this. They could have gotten this guy.
I mean, we've always talked about how team management have been the worst we've ever seen. My question is, and I don't have this information, but like, how many teams wanted to pick Don up in the last 2 to 3 years that they couldn't because if they tried with Vegas wanted to sell him. They didn't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. Like,
how
I don't
many
know the
times
answer
did
to
that happen? Like how many opportunities did Timp lose out on because of that situation? Because I think, I imagine it has to be more than 0, and I think that's what weighs into his decision. Is like, okay, do you take the minimum and run the risk of someone picking you up or wanting to pick you up but not being able to do it again?
It's just
happened 2 years in a row.
If Don's willing to do it, then he's willing to do it, and that says a lot.
Yeah, no, agreed. Let's move on. Let's see what else is going on here. Which one of the top players in the last 2 COD titles do you guys think is going to have a massive drop-off?
None of them.
COD is COD.
COD is COD, man. I mean, a massive drop-off is crazy.
Massive's not the word. There are people that won't be fucking insane, but I don't think massive drop-off is the word.
The only team that I think, like, as far as maybe, like, drop-off is, like, really the Seattle team, because it's like, what... Ilya
that drop off already happened though.
Yeah, it's like
they're at the bottom.
Is that the new level or is that just a small blip of their form from last season? With those individual players.
All right, this guy said thoughts on a community-funded major to fill the dead space. I mean, that would be phenomenal.
Guys gonna raise
any 5 gifted in chat for a major?
$250,000 here. Like, what are we doing? Like,
I mean, honestly though, if we community funded. Like everybody's community, like everybody community funded. You don't think the community would come in deep as fuck? I think they would.
Yeah, but you got to find a venue still. That's all. That's the next part. It's not.
Fuck it, leave it up to Garrett. She'll figure it out.
We'll go to like somebody's backyard, like Lamar's backyard in fucking Calabasas or something, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Just get some setups, man.
The problem is
setups, bro.
Even if y'all succeeded and raised a ton of money, Activision would just come in. These teams can't play. Sorry.
Yeah, right. There'd be some there'd be some crazy rule or restriction that won't allow us to do it. So unfortunately, that'll probably never happen. But we can only wish. What is the likelihood LAG actually field a team this year? I mean, we already kind of talked about LAG.
Yeah.
In the CDL era, do pros buy their own copy of the game? Does their org, is their account just given access? Nah, they're given access.
Yeah,
they're giving access on the CDL accounts, and they're giving codes for their main ones.
Yeah. Shout out to I got my code yesterday. I gotta use that, bro. If the CDL crumbles, what would replace it, if anything at all, considering the landscape of esports as a whole at the moment? However, if the CDL is here to stay, what is the one thing you would change about it to keep it entertaining yet profitable for all parties? What is the one thing you guys would change to keep it profitable?
No.
There's a lot that you can do.
There's a million fucking things.
I can make a whole list.
Let's not do those. Like, if we're gonna do online activity, like, let's do what Halo does and just do the event format, but fucking online. Like, if we have
team camos.
If we have to do online, let's pick the most fair fucking format to do it. Like,
Team
on all MTX.
Team camos would be great. Let teams actually make good merchandise instead of restricting them on all their merch, so they could actually sell
just
nice
full
stuff.
autonomy over all MTX for the teams.
Crowdfunding could help with like events and stuff like that, so they wouldn't have to drop so much of their budget into like prize earnings and stuff. It would save some cash on the back end if they were doing crowdfunded events and the community just came in deep and just went absolutely nuts. There is so many different things that they can do to be profitable.
Here's the thing, bro. Raleigh was a great event last year because it celebrated all facets of Call of Duty, right? Like, you had a little bit of Warzone with what was going on at COD. You had COD Mobile and you had CDL. Like, bro, do more stuff. 1 or 2 events around that synergy. Bro, bring back that OLG vibe where you're going.
Yeah, if there was only an
3 or 4 events
entire
going on at the same
ecosystem.
time.
Man, if only there was let me tell you
base
something.
this idea off of. When did we do that?
There's
I can't quite put my
whole-
finger on it.
They have a whole community that is telling them what to do. A whole community.
That's what it's not. It's no longer ignorance, bro. I'm gonna start going again. I'm gonna get.
And when
Wait,
you
the Activision go knock on my door.
listen to that community, when you have a good product, that's when you start getting more eyes on all the brands and all the sponsors and all that other stuff. And that's how you start making profits. You need a good game. You need a good competitive game.
Shout out Slash.
We have Slasher in the chat. Shit was better when I ran the league.
Any SWLs in chat?
World League, ladies and
We
gentlemen.
show some love to
SWLs in
Slasher,
chat?
man. Let's get an SWL spam in the chat. This should be the Slasher World League. I
What's
mean, I've had
crazy
enough.
too-
I've had enough.
What's crazy too is how much positive reception the Raleigh event got last year. I mean, we had Daniel on the couch with us, and we were like, "Yo, this shit's sick. Like, we gotta,
Yeah, you guys like
gotta
this
do
shit?
a million
We're
more
never doing
of
it
these."
again.
No, but at the time it's like, yeah, like we're seeing all the community feedback. We love it. We're really gonna, take a look at it. Blah 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 blah. It's not like they don't know, bro.
Yeah, you guys
I
like this
swear,
shit?
it's not
Enjoy
like
it
they
because
don't know.
it's never coming back.
Like,
It's just, bro, again, and we'll keep saying it, bro. The formula is not a fucking secret. You don't need to pay Pat $3 million over 3 fucking years.
no, you absolutely do need to do that.
I mean, Pat wants that check, but give us all the check as well.
Awesome.
Like the format is out there. We've done it in the past. They do it in other games currently. Like, there's a formula of success that I think we're continuing the growth pattern we were on last
Also,
season.
I got a question, okay? Or somebody in the chat said not YouTube exclusive, right? It's a great point, right? We should be on all platforms getting the most reach, especially when we're going to a game with an MW3 title on it with old school maps and red dots. Like Pat said, they created a problem and sold a solution, and they're bringing all that nostalgia back. Like, there's so much hype around this game. We should be on all platforms. We should be on every single platform. How big was that YouTube deal? Because I'm hearing that this YouTube deal wasn't even as big as the one previous. It wasn't even anything crazy. Who said that? Somebody said that.
Wait, how
Well,
much was the last one? Last one was
hold on,
9 figures, right?
Yeah, but there was other stuff in there. There was like
Somebody
Cloud Racing,
told
a bunch
me
of
that
stuff.
this YouTube deal wasn't even like it was a lot. Obviously, it's a lot of cash.
It was Nate in a podcast. I think he was
Right.
talking
Okay,
about
Nate
it.
Shot. And why not bet on yourself, right? Like, I agree with Matt. Like, I agree with him. Why not bet on yourself to get the most reach and just make money in other ways? And then if you even if you don't make as much money, well, what's the difference? Like, how much less are you making? Like, how much lower is that bar? Because all you're doing is taking us a step back again. It's like, hey, let's take another step back now before we go into this league.
You want to know the fucked up thing about this, and I've talked about it on my stream a lot of time about the YouTube thing, is that we had all this culture on Twitch, right? Everyone loved the watch parties. Everyone loved the inflated numbers, right? Like you, Seth, everyone doing all this, right? Activision took those numbers
And sold it.
sent them to YouTube and was like, "Look what we're doing. Look at us."
Yeah,
Who
I
would've
know,
thought?
I know, and that's
And
another
they-
thing.
And
Do
hold
we
on, one
see
more-
any
one
of
more
that
thing real
number?
quick.
Do we see any of that? Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, of course not. They took the good. That's why, like, I hate defending them in this situation because it's like, look at the bag. They have to take it for the sustainability of the league. I hate that argument, that counter argument, because they're using what the community has done for them in order to make that bag. So I don't want their like unnecessary defense of this YouTube exclusivity thing because they're using the inflated numbers of Twitch and the community of Call of Duty to sell against them to go to YouTube. It makes
But
no fucking
The
sense.
shittiest part about it, Sam, is it's like, and it's clear that this is not a deal that's being
That's
negotiated
scummy,
by
bro.
but this is the most fucked up part about it, to be honest. If you think about it, it's a deal probably being negotiated by partnerships people, the executive team at Activision, who may not fucking be there in a couple months as the company restructures on this deal. So it's people that may not have jobs in 7 8 months. We don't know with how redundant business units are going to work as the two companies merge. And that's what sucks is people 3 levels removed from what we're doing here, making massive decisions that have huge implications for our scene and the growth. And everybody in the scene is saying it's a bad idea. We had owners on our fucking couch last year. We would ask them straight up, what are your thoughts on the deal? We had multiple owners come on and say they would rather go with the strategy that we were on last season. Let's be on Twitch, whatever platform you can pick how you want. Let's go engagement and growth over.
Yeah, but are they
getting
actually
clickbait.
saying that behind the scenes, Ben? Because if that was the case, this YouTube deal probably wouldn't go through. If a majority of the CDL teams came in, because they meet with the board, they meet with all the owners, they meet and they've talked about this. And I don't know. And I heard that they were putting in votes. The voting system started, and for all we know, I mean, from what I know so far, we're going to YouTube. I'm pretty positive on that. So the voting must have came in, and some of those teams probably wanted some of that cash.
What I will say is that there are definitely a plurality and almost probably a majority. I don't know the numbers. There's definitely a lot of owners, and you can probably take a guess on which ones that are like not down for the YouTube deal, and they've been very publicly against it. There are some owners who I think are definitely for it because the money piece is a little bit more important. So I don't think it's a like 12-0 everybody is against the YouTube deal, but I do think at the end of the day there's probably a majority of owners that don't want it. The problem is I don't think they have much of a say in the situation if say the YouTube deal is being put in place in order to cover the economics of Activision Blizzard Esports.
Yeah. Hey, listen,
You know
bro.
what I mean? If they're going to owners and saying, well, if we don't take the YouTube deal, we're going to massively slash our operations, and here's what you're going to lose. Like they basically
That's what we should do. We should massively slash the operations until we're like, oh wow, the CDL is defunct. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what should happen. That's what needs to happen.
Don't worry, Pat. It's happening. They're doing it for us. We're good.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to wait like another 2 years. So like the YouTube deal will bide us a year, and then we'll have to do it next year. Like it's just like a vicious death cycle. Like bro, just get over with, rip the Band-Aid off, chalk it up. CDL was a horrible product. They knew it. They were too dumb to realize it, and look where we are now.
So use code use code chickens brings up a good point. While they do like what
I
Prime
thought
Video
you were
did.
doing a sponsor.
I thought he was
plug,
doing a
bro.
sponsor thing too.
I was like, what the hell?
So we were talking about use code chicken, like that shit works in sports because media rights are so valuable. People have tried that shit in esports. Like when I was back at Esports Engine, we probably had a publisher come every 3 months to be like, yeah, our new league idea, we're going to break up into broadcast packages and sell them to different people. I'm telling you, there's no market for that. There's like legit zero market. So as great of an idea as that sounds, neither Twitch nor YouTube nor Kick is I think going for it.
I'm gonna go back up to this question, but now that we're in the topic, this guy said, now that Twitch allows multi-streaming, will you be streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time during matches and the flank, and just change Twitch overlay for matches and show? Because this was the original plan, was to hide the gameplay on Twitch but still be live on Twitch anyway, like I did the first year, right, in Cold War. When I
Vanguard,
first
right?
No, it was Cold War.
No, it was Cold War. When I
Did we do it in Vanguard too?
Yeah,
We're on
we did
YouTube.
both.
yeah,
we were
did.
on YouTube and
We did.
Vanguard.
Yeah, I guess you're
You
right.
did in
Yeah,
Vanguard,
both. I've been just showing full webcam on Twitch, no gameplay whatsoever. But then people are telling me there's some random TOS rule. I don't know, rule number 395.
So I took a look at it, Tom.
What does
I
it
took a
say,
look
man? What does it say?
I took a look at it, and basically, like, they're with the new multi co-streaming thing, there are rules against having a degraded experience on Twitch. But I read them, and like they're very vague. So we should have a conversation because the way they're written, it's like it doesn't say like if you violate it, you're gonna get your channel banned. It's like you'll
No.
get a warning.
Don't have a conversation. Ask for forgiveness, not for permission,
That's what
baby.
I'm saying. Like I think there's some wiggle room here, Tom. There's a
I
little
think
bit of
what they-
wiggle room.
maybe.
I think is my mic okay? I think what they want is they don't want you basically streaming a black screen saying I'm on kick.
Yeah, basically.
I think if you're actually doing content, legitimate content on both, you
Mhm.
might actually have a chance here.
No,
Okay.
you know what you should do, Tom? You should do full cam on Twitch and only gameplay on YouTube. That way you gotta have both streams up. You can't have one or the other. You gotta have both.
Businessman Pat right there. Businessman Pat. Give me
Yeah,
the
man,
to
yeah,
everybody.
man, what?
insane.
Yeah.
We're
What?
on mobile, Pat. You can only watch one. You're fucked, I guess.
Get
Bro,
another
at
phone.
some point, it's
Another
also
phone,
like,
Kevin Gates. All right, calm down.
yeah, nah, I don't know. Regardless, yeah, we should probably talk to somebody at Twitch. We'll get more clarification on that. The goal is to be live on both platforms at the same time. Twitch will have the scoreboard, the mini map, my full cam, whatever, and then YouTube will have the full gameplay. Then when the matches end, we just end the YouTube stream. We do the flank on
Yeah.
Twitch because it's been streaming here on Twitch. We've always done the flank live on Twitch, so we wouldn't have to change any of that. So trying to keep it as normal as possible is the
Yeah.
goal. But we'll see. Regardless, man, if it's on YouTube, I'll be live on YouTube, and we'll be streaming from the ZooMaa channel. I don't know if we're gonna be streaming from the main ZooMaa channel or the ZooMaa Live, but
Well, we're gonna figure it out. Yeah.
we'll figure it out. And
We're trying to go to all the events. I will say this now that the schedule got public announced. Like we've been talking to Boston for like a month now. We've been talking to other teams as well, just sort of starting that process. So for all the people that come in my chat, Tom's chat, Chris's chat, Sam's chat, like we're trying to go to all the events again this year, and we're
Mhm.
trying to level up, bro. I don't want to give too much because Tom gets mad when I talk about
yeah,
ideas on stream, but
yeah,
we're trying to improve the experience for y'all and also provide more ways to interact with fans when we're at events. So stay tuned for that.
yeah. I mean, again, we just did the flank tour, right? And I thought the flank tour this year was phenomenal. I mean, did you guys
a
enjoy it?
banger.
Like Ben and Chris and
Other than
Pat,
us getting kicked out.
Sam, you're
of the
obviously
venue
new. You were
security in
competing,
Boston,
but
I was there for a little
and
bit.
me
I
tearing
mean,
my
a
fucking
little bit.
meniscus at
Yeah, your
Toronto.
moments.
And being next to the bathroom every
At
time was a
Champs,
little
yeah,
rough.
that'll never happen fucking again. But
yeah, Ben.
This-
Nah,
this-
Ben folded on that. Ben, you folded on that. You folded, bro.
well, it was either that or
I was disappointed, Ben. You folded
I don't
on
want
that.
to.
bro.
I don't want to start a whole thing, but
Nah, it's all
no,
right.
but
It's all right.
there was not another option. But it's all good. Look, I think we enjoy going to events, and for us, it's about you guys, bro. It's about the remote viewers at home that can't attend. We want to give them an experience that we give them online at LAN so they can be with us in spirit. And for people that come to events to meet us, take pictures, say hi, kind of interact. Like we want to be a part of the action and also like get you that feel and have special guests on and do
Yeah.
interviews. So
Yeah, we want to do the world tour for
we're
sure.
excited. We're excited for what we're playing this year for sure.
Yeah, hopefully it all goes to plan, but some rules and some things, we just got to figure some things out. First team inside the top 4 to make a roster change.
None of them voluntarily.
Yeah, I actually don't think any of the top 4 make a change this year.
Unless someone
I don't
breaks
think-
their thumb.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll have the resources to make a change that they want to make.
None of them voluntarily.
I just can't see.
There's no upgrades.
I agree.
Yeah, there's no one
I don't think
outside of
voluntarily.
that. If you make a change, you want to make it for someone else on a top 4 team. And then again, we've had this conversation. Trade for trade, good for like best player for worst player, never happens.
And it's just hard for us to predict like some massive team chemistry breakdown. Someone benches himself, like some absolute bullshit that we're not going to be able to predict today. Like that'll be their scenario, which has happened before.
Yeah, I mean, I had to take about Optic, but I said it on the Stockspin podcast, so maybe we should wait for it. Maybe I should not say it. So,
Yeah, but he's not going to drop that for like 2 months from now.
nah, he
though.
said he's dropping it in 3 days. He said he's
What the
editing
fuck?
it.
I recorded my episode with him like a month
Yeah,
ago.
he said he
Oh,
said
shit.
he actually said to me, he
shit.
said, yeah, I'm priority right now, so he's
you put my episode in the fucking
he
vault,
he
bro.
said
What the
he said I'm gonna upload yours, and then I'm gonna upload the like other 3 or 4 that I've done. Like I'm gonna upload
Oh,
yours
what the
first.
actual? Nah.
Yeah,
That's
nah,
fucking out of
it be
pocket
like
for
that.
me.
I mean, I'd be like that.
That's
bro.
out of pocket, bro.
It'd be like that for sure, but it be, you know what I mean. But I do, I do.
Gershon my
there-
chest.
there-
It was Tom Gershon and
There,
me. Like
there
hell
is
nah,
there is
bro.
one concern that I have with Optics roster. One, and I said it on the Stockspin podcast. I said it. I said I obviously I think Optics are a really good team, like insane team. I think
Yeah.
their ceiling and everything is incredible. But I have one main concern. So you guys can see what I said on the Stockspin podcast. But you guys could probably put 2 in. You guys could probably think what my concern is. You guys could probably like already guess. Like if you think.
I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, I don't want to give it away now. I just filmed this podcast today. You know, I don't want to say it.
It's only
but-
one segment on the
Put it in the
podcast, huh?
TeamSpeak chat, Tom.
Yeah, I'll say it. If you put it in there, and then I'll say it. I got you.
Yeah, I really don't know.
That is true. There is we talked about a lot, right? So I mean, we went into that.
Type it in the chat.
No, I'll just say, bro. I mean, there's a lot to the podcast. If Ace gets mad, I'm sorry, but I feel like I can't tease, you know. But my main concern with the Optic squad is just too many superstars. Like, I actually don't know if Optic is gonna be that team that meshes well together. Like, obviously all the talent is there, but their play styles, like the way AG plays, I know how he likes to play, bro. He likes to.
They don't have an envoy.
They don't have. Yeah, well, here's the thing, right? And we saw like Shotzi on Dallas Empire, right? When he ended up having to be like that hill bitch, like the way he was playing, and it just wasn't working out.
They had him running trophy smoke.
They had him running a trophy smoke.
Trophy smoke at the beginning of Opera 2019.
A trophy smoke, and it wasn't looking good, right? And then they let Shotzi do what he wants, right? You let Pred do what he wants. They're gonna roam. They're gonna get their kills. They're gonna do their thing. But it's like the other things. You know how Dashy likes to play, right? And bro, when you look at these players, I mean, and this is what I said in the podcast. This team has the upside to be like the best team in the game if everything is clicking and they get it right. You know what I mean? But because of the play styles, I have a concern. And
I mean, it's just gonna be on Ken. Yeah,
and guys, people are saying FaZe. I said the same thing about FaZe. The same thing. Ben, how many times did we say FaZe? They're getting so many kills and they're not getting in points, and they're not doing the little things. I mean, I think that's why FaZe struggled as well. I think Optic might run into that same problem.
Well, I think New York might have the same problem now. Dropping Preston for Dante is definitely a skill upgrade, but it's going to create some, issues with how you want to play certain situations from a dirty work standpoint.
Now, I want to say this because it's just so weird. The way the chat just erupts when you critique anything with Optic is insane. Bro, we say the same things about FaZe. We say the same things. So I don't want anybody coming in here saying bias or saying some crazy shit, because every time you critique Optic in every little way, it just makes you guys so mad. They're a great team, guys. They're a great team. But my honest opinion is they might run into some issues along the way that they're going to have to figure out, just like FaZe has been running into issues. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I actually think Draza is going to be a big X factor for FaZe, because I think he's going to help bring them together. And I think Kenny's going to have to be that guy for Optic. I think they're in very similar situations. And if you guys want to throw fucking tomatoes, that's fine. Throw the tomatoes.
Hold on. I will say this. I don't think it's just Kenny. I actually think the Ant literally talked about this on a podcast of he knows that he may have to be the one that suggests his play style and not AG. So
but you don't want that. That's not the dynamic of that team.
So they have some work to figure out with how to make AG work.
Fucking on Ken, and I think a little bit of it is on Dashy as well, which I talked extensively about that. But
my honest opinion. It's my honest opinion.
I wanted to say that to Bruce's credit, I think he took more of a backseat role towards the tail end this year, and I think his gameplay style has matured a lot. And I think also you guys were mentioning Sib. I think his is also taking a turn for the better. I just talked to Sib a lot now, and I just feel like that's probably not going to be an issue. But Brandon's is a lot more credible because we saw it at the end of the year with how he was playing for his team. I don't think he was necessarily playing as reckless as he was. They obviously had other issues, but I don't think Brandon is going to be. Yeah, I don't think Brandon's going to be that much of a problem.
It's just going to be on the ARs.
This guy said the FaZe flank. Put that guy in the corner for 600 seconds, bro. Put that guy in the corner, bro. You know what I mean?
Any tomatoes in chat?
There's a lot of tomatoes. They're booing. Sam, there's a lot of tomatoes and they're booing, bro. They're booing loud. You know what I mean? It's getting hectic. But let's move on. Let's see. We also went into a lot more on the podcast, so make sure to check out the Stocksman podcast. I think he's gonna be dropping it in 3 or 4 days, man. So we were just yapping. So if you guys want to watch that, go tune in.
I do have a problem. I have two things to say. I have a problem with the first thing you said, Tom. You said that your fear about Optic is that they have too many superstars, right?
No, I know where you go.
But when I look at the roster up and down, Tom, I only see two superstars. I only see two superstars.
Pat, you're just wrong, bro.
If I go off last year, what I seen the eye test last year, I only saw two superstars on that squad this year. So.
Bro,
It'll be interesting. And aside from that, the next thing I wanted to say is I've never felt more confident in my 2024 champs pick the Toronto Ultra.
I mean, you just gotta throw it until it
I've
hits,
never,
right?
I've
You
never
picked them
felt
last
more
year and they
confident.
got
Bro,
fucking
you
choked
said
in
that
the
for 3
finals.
years.
I never felt more
2
confident.
years. Sorry, 2 years. You've been here
No,
for
the
2
first-
years.
the
You've been
first
saying
year
it from
was
the
a typo.
beginning.
The first year was a typo.
The only thing I'm
And-
confident is you're gonna change your fucking
And
prediction
hold on,
again.
hold on.
Like,
And last year, let's keep in mind, I went undefeated in event winners.
That's so typical though.
until
That's so
typical.
Toronto they were in the grand finals looking great. They just smoked New York, and then somehow lost it from the winner's side. So anyway,
accurately predicting major winners last year is unbelievable.
should have parlayed it. Wow.
Should
yeah,
have
and you would have
parlayed
fucking
it.
not hit on the last leg when you put fucking Toronto.
I should have just
winning
parlayed the
champs.
5, man.
Wait,
Just
hold on,
parlayed
hold
the
on.
5.
Before
At least
we
this year, I only got to parlay the 4.
hold on, before we move on, do you guys agree with what I said about Optic? Do you guys agree or no?
No.
All right, Sam, what's your take?
I mean, it's the same shit that I've been saying about Ken, dude. I think that like Brandon, I've said it as well. I think Chris just echoed that sentiment. Brandon started to play more of the role that he needs to in order to win, not necessarily in the statistical category. For the last like couple months of the season for MW2, I think Ken knows how to win. He's been in a grand final of champs more than once, won champs. Like I know everything about Ken's game in and out. I know how he is in a practice room. There is a lot of talent, but it's not going to be unmanaged talent, which I think was the problem in the past with the team.
Well, Sam, I never said that they can't win.
No,
You know
I
what I'm
know, but
saying?
you're just saying there's too much talent. I don't think that's going to necessarily be an issue. If it goes unchecked or if it goes not managed well enough, then it can become an issue.
Right. That's that, and which is where what I was saying, right? Like I feel like that's something they're gonna have to make sure.
There's going to be an adjustment period.
Like
for sure.
that's gonna be gonna be an adjustment period, and how
Like,
they handle that adjustment period
wouldn't
is
be
my
surprised.
concern. That's all I said.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
my concern. I didn't say they were about. They're
Like,
a great team.
I would not be surprised if Ken starts next year the way that I started Vanguard when I really had to go through this shit, which it's hard as fuck, dude. Like going from the role where you're really not too concerned with like the macro play of the map and more so like I know where I'm going, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, to like where is everyone all the time 20 seconds from now as well as right now. Like going from such minimal like game sense to everything on the map is a super crazy adjustment. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ken starts next year relatively slow and probably gets a lot of like flack for it, which is like obviously going to happen with the Optic fan base. But I think if they put it together and Ken manages to do it super well, that team's going to be fucking gross.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't disagree with you. What about you, Ben, Pat, Chris? Chris, you haven't said much. I don't know if you're back.
You all right, Chris?
I don't know if you heard me, but I said basically what Sam said, because he said I echoed his sentiment. I think Brandon changed his play style a lot. And I think we also touched on Sid, because you guys have the same word with New York, where I think they changed their gameplay styles a lot.
I bet. Anybody else got anything to say about that or no? Let's move on.
Yeah, I just think that look, bottom line, they're gonna be a top 4 team, you know. So
Yeah,
it's like
they're a good team.
We'll see where they end up.
They're
in
a
that top
good
4.
team that can win events. You know, just a little concerned because FaZe went through the same thing, the same problem, same adjustments, and hopefully this year it's different for them. But let's move on. Do you think with less events that Microsoft might lift the embargo on full CDL teams playing inside tournaments? Nah, there's no way, right?
No.
There's no way. We talked
No.
about
'Cause
this.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. There's too many reasons on their end, and I think unfair reasons. And no, it wouldn't change anything.
I mean, listen, we're
The
trying.
CDL.
Ben, you heard me on the call a few days ago.
Oh, don't get in trouble, Tom.
I'm not.
Be careful. Any be carefuls in chat. Be careful.
Sam, I'm just, Ben, I'm just saying, you heard me, and just you could tell the people
know.
that I was trying, bro. I was trying.
We've tried our best.
I went on a whole speech on a call with Activision. I went on a whole rant,
we've tried,
rant,
we tried
bro.
our fucking best, but
I remember when I did one of my rants on Activision
but
call.
I've also talked to other people in the scene who are running events, and they've tried similar.
What's
if not
the
same
logic
conversation.
behind that though? Like the no full roster thing. Is it like it's our product and we want to be the only ones to do it? Is that like genuinely what it is? Like what's the actual logic behind it?
So I think there are a number of issues because if it involves all CDL teams, it becomes a CDL activity, and along that brings restrictions on partners and sponsorship and broadcast rights. It sounds like stuff that could always be overcome if a third-party operator was running things, but because they're a large corporation, they have all this procedure. It's just a mess. I think it's unnecessary bureaucracy. It's what it sounds like.
Can't play a fucking kickoff tournament with my boys, dude.
I don't know what to say, man. It's tough.
Yo, for Sam, Chris, and Pat, besides for winning champs,
Shit.
what was your favorite career moment?
Probably winning London in 2019. 'Cause that was
London
100 T.
2019.
Yeah, it was BO4. Like that was 100 T's first win in anything.
Yeah, that London was mine too.
And the London crowd.
Gfinity was
My
probably
favorite
mine
crowd
too.
I've ever played in front of.
Gfinity 3-1 comeback.
Yeah, the Gfinity 3-1 comeback, winning in front of my pops. That was probably the best one because my pops obviously he can't come to the U.S., so he lives overseas. So it was like it was one of I hadn't seen him in 6 years I think before that event when I landed, and then I won the event with him there. So it was just a crazy experience. So probably that for me. What about you, Pat?
I mean, I've just had so many great ones, Tom.
I know.
Beating Optic in 2020, beating Optic in 2019, beating Optic in 2019.
There's every year you could go down the line. Probably that AW opener event when I had the 6 stitches in my thumb and won 2 best of 5 from losers and went on that like crazy run on Sunday.
And he got iced by a loser
dude,
squad too.
that
during
event was-
process.
That was a crazy
Got
event.
iced by a loser
That
squad.
event was so fire.
You were with
dude.
Doug
And
Spencer Martin too. The
I
GOAT.
was one with Doug. First jetpack event ever.
That event was so good.
Beat Crim after our EG team split up. 2 best of 5s. Blood coming out my thumb. Shitting on him. Yeah, it was a good time. First,
Bro, I went back and
That was
watched
the
that
first
game
phase event.
recently. I watched
Phase
that
I went
event
for that.
recently, bro. The
Let
way
me switch
that
scenes, Tom.
the way that event was played and the way that the
Because-
AW was played at the end of the season is fucking wild.
Well,
Have
is
you-
it?
wait,
have you guys-
but it was.
Holy
I'm gonna
Sam.
say this. I'm gonna say this. AW4 bow was better than the meta that it ended up.
You like the 4 bow more than
Nah,
the
you're
ASM
tripping over
meta?
that.
Yeah,
Nah.
yeah.
Hell no.
Nah.
Yeah, I
It
think
was
you're. I
better.
think you're tripping.
It was
Nah.
better.
One gun meta
How was
fucking
it better?
stink.
It was just better in that
One
game. It
gun
was
meta
better.
stink.
Bro, the
Why?
ASM one
Why was it
also the
better?
ASM one got stronger as you shot it over time.
Yeah,
So
but
did
it
the
shot,
bow.
but it,
So
but
did the bow,
so
yeah,
did
the
the
bow
bow
shot
did
faster.
too.
Yeah, but the
Slay.
ASM one was faster because time to kill was faster up close.
Nah, it's like you
Okay, dude.
Yo, it's like
It was.
Yo,
Bro,
Slay is making
the-
shit
all-
up, bro.
Bro, go on Twitter, bro. Ask, do
Yeah.
a poll. All
Do
bow
a
meta
poll right
was
here.
superior.
Just do a poll right here in the chat. Do a poll.
Nah, chat's biased. Chat's biased. Do it
Nah,
on
they're
Twitter.
not biased, bro. They're not biased. Bro. They stay true to their word, bro. They got their own opinions for sure.
And the bow got nerfed, I'm pretty sure. Or was it buffed or nerfed in AW?
I don't think it got changed during its lifespan.
Yeah, I don't think it,
Yeah,
got
it did.
changed.
Nah,
Yeah,
people
dude.
just went
I
from like,
don't
the red
remember.
dot to
Could be
the-
wrong.
taking that shit off. That was the only. I don't think it ever got like buffed or nerfed that I remember anyway.
AW bow update.
Last
My best moment. Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead, Chris. No, go ahead, Chris. Say your
I
best
was gonna
moment.
say my last. My best moment was outside winning champs was winning Dallas. Prior to that, I'd been competing in Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3, so I've been to a bunch of MLG events, especially during Black Ops 1, and finally getting one on the board after coming close in Black Ops 1 was a surreal experience.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah, bro.
what Dallas event you said?
First one, to Black Ops 2.
Oh, the BO2 Dallas one. Yeah.
Ben, what was your biggest win? What was your biggest one? What was your best moment? What was your best moment working? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you've been in the space, you worked with us. Like, what was like a moment that you remember that just like
Probably
you were so happy? You know what I mean? Like, what was like, a
season
good moment?
season 1 World War 2, because the team was in like a tough spot going in that.
Mhm.
Like the event in Birmingham wasn't good. We lost that first match in winners. Roster changes were being discussed. So I'm as a manager, I'm like, oh shit, here we go. And then you guys just made the run. And it wasn't like a clean run. There were a lot of game 5s. There was just weird moments of just destiny, like the Clay burgering of streaks and just absolute insane clutches from all of y'all. Your flanks on Arden's Forest. Crowder had some insane clutches. Obviously, Dylan had like the clip of the event, the 1v3.
It's a clip of the fucking game.
That shit was insane.
Clip of
But
Call
yeah.
of Duty.
And my favorite part about all of that is like continuously over the course of the weekend, I would sit in the pro lounge, just get chirped by Looney, get chirped by Slacked and fucking Nick Classic, and then at the end you guys won. That was a good vindication, you know.
Yeah, nah, it was a crazy. That was a
Told-
crazy
Told
tournament.
them to shove it up the, so
Our,
the fuck?
our team was chalked if we didn't make that run. We were chalked. We were definitely
bro,
chalked.
it definitely chalked. It was definitely chalked.
But yeah, man, good times, man, good times. Actually, Ben, look what I got here. Look.
Like, what do you got? I'm peeping.
Yeah, the MVP trophy.
Oh, it's a good fucking trophy right
There
there.
it is. There it is, guys.
Bang.
There it is. You know what I mean? You can see the MVP one back there too. That's what that is. If you guys were just wondering what that was back there.
Bang.
was an MVP trophy. Sam's got a few of those. Don't you,
Yeah,
Sam?
which one is that one? I got that. I got one,
Sam, what do you got over
two,
there?
3, 4. Ah, shit.
He lost count. He's just making MVPs up at this point. He's adding more. But
I got 3.
I think that should do it for us. I think, Ben, you should sink us a little putt and get us out of here, man. I was scrolling through. We answered like a lot of these questions, so I think we had a good show.
I haven't played golf in a bit, so like I might miss his putt. You should bet against me, I think.
Ooh, that's a bet 4. That's a bet 4.
That's a good angle right there.
That's a bet
You got
4.
lights on in it? You got any lights or no?
I'll turn some lights on. Chill.
No way he's giving us insider information, bro. He's
I hope
rigging the
nah,
polls.
he's trying to reverse psychology, us, dude. I'm not listening to this shit.
He's
Reverse
not-
psychology.
You think Ben's got the dogs
Reverse
out?
biology, dude. I'm not listening to this shit.
You think Ben's got the dogs out right now?
I hope. Nah, he's probably got the Jesus 4s on or some shit. Oh, he's
Jesus
got the
Christ.
dogs out.
Why is he gonna bend
Ah,
over like
shit.
that? Jesus Christ. Oh man, Sam, those are looking.
Nah, that's fucking
Rough.
nuts. That's fucking insane.
Oh man, he's gonna step up to the plate and he misses the paw.
Ah, shit.
Oh no!
Wait, he sailed that motherfucker.
He just wrecked it.
Dang.
Oh man, he's
Dang.
gonna step back up and try and hit. He had
Nah, he always goes for the
4.4.
second
There
one.
was 4.4 million channel points on Ben sinking the pot, and only and 3.5 on him making it.
Ben, you gotta start doing the
Unbelievable.
flank with some socks on.
Or him not making
You
it.
can't be you can't be subjecting the flank
Ben,
viewers
Ben,
to that.
Well,
Bang.
I respectfully, I hear your opinion, and you can respect.
I hear you.
Yourself.
Ben,
I
there
hear
was
you. I'll go fuck myself.
Ben, there was 4.4 million channel points on you making the pot.
Yeah, I told you guys not to bet on me. I like literally haven't played golf in like since I was in Arizona. This is not golf
What?
weather here.
That was like 2 days ago.
Investigation needs to happen. We need to see how many points
that
Ben
was-
just bet on a miss right there.
That was insane.
I
Oh,
would
you
never
think?
bet-
Oh,
I
you
would
think
never
he's
bet on
doing that?
myself.
You think he's doing
No,
that?
Fucking Pete Rose.
I think you missed intentionally. Let me check your channel points.
Wait. Ben could
Okay.
be doing that. Be careful, bro. I didn't even think about that. That's
Ben's in the
crazy.
channel point mafia. He just got a little a
That's
group
insider.
of
That's
little gremlins.
insider trading. Yeah, that's insider trading. bro.
Insider trading.
All right, man. Anybody else got anything else to say before we head out of here?
Fuck no.
All righty, man. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites that we're on. And go follow at The Flank on Twitter. Gersh doing a phenomenal job running socials per usual. Take care. Brush your hair. And we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Flank. Take it easy.
It's 11/11. Make a wish.
Vote for
Talking about.
ZooMaa Esports Content Creator of the Year.